Okay, so we are going to be going live.
Hey, I hear you.
Hello.
Not the best back.
Hello.
Can you
Yeah,
hear me?
that is great. Yeah,
Are
I
you
can
in
hear
your
you. Can you hear me?
I don't see you, Salty.
Yeah, I don't see you either, Salty.
Oh,
no.
oh. Let me hit this button. There
Yay.
we go.
Yay.
And I can hear everybody.
Good.
Oh, good. All
right.
right.
Well, I sent Noah another message to accept the contact request, but he hasn't done it yet. He did see it though, so he's probably doing it right now.
Awesome.
All right.
I got my first comment of, "I'm sorry, I need a police report. 'Tis the season for scammers." It's like I wasn't asking for anything.
You
but
didn't ask for a dime.
I'm not asking for money. I know. In fact, people have been commenting like, "Hey, where can I donate?" I'm like, we're not asking for money. We need people to spread the word so we can get our tractor back.
Yeah.
We need to find out where your tractor went.
Yeah, we want to find out who the criminal is.
Yeah.
Man, I hate this backdrop.
Is there another wall? Can you turn to another wall?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I think so. Give me just a second. I'm gonna change my shirt real quick too. I'm sorry, guys. I'm all backwards.
It's okay. It's okay.
This is not an OnlyFans.
The more genuine you are, the better anyway. You
I'll
know?
be right back.
Genuine real life stuff.
Exactly.
Oh boy.
Yeah, he had a rough day. So I was gonna say, I'm live right now. Are you live right now on your TikTok as well?
Oh yes, I am. I actually have to turn it around for you guys. Let me turn it around so you guys can see Salty. So this is kind of like the couple of minutes before we go live on Facebook.
I had somebody ask me who's changing what. That's Farmer Froberg. He was going to change his shirt right now.
Yeah, he's going to change his shirt and he needs a different background.
Shirts, not skirts. No change in the skirts.
I didn't say skirt.
No, I'm reading a comment here.
Oh.
This is gonna be crazy. We're gonna have 3 different TikTok lives, one Facebook live, and 3 of us all talking together here.
I'm so glad that you went live. So what I did the first time, I actually had it pointing just at my face and I was talking to people, and I don't know why I didn't point it at my computer so everybody could see all 3. So that's what I do now.
Let me see if I can change that. Y'all bear with me. I'm going to try and aim you at my computer screen here.
Yep.
All right. Let's flip you all around here. Make sure I don't disconnect here either. See, I don't go live very often, so this is new to me.
You have like a stand to hold it and face it towards the computer?
Yeah, I got something here.
I'm going to have the issue of the disappearing mic again. Maybe I need to get the mic out of the screen.
Well, I got...
half my body disappears.
How do I change it so we are all the same size on our view? Oh, here we go.
If you go up into the right-hand side at the top, it says view.
Oh, I got to zoom that out a bit.
Yeah.
Let's figure this out here. Bear with me, everybody.
It says we're recording, but I'm going to stop that recording. Wait. No, maybe I shouldn't. I probably shouldn't mess with anything.
No, don't mess with anything.
Don't touch it. Nobody even breathe.
What'd you say?
I said nobody even breathe. Don't touch nothing.
don't breathe or touch anything. Yeah. It says the link is expired. No. Oh,
No.
Noah's having that same issue. So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do an email invite for Noah.
So, and I have it. So I can
Everyone
set-
seems to know how to do it through the link thing and like an email instead of. All right, let's see.
Technical difficulties is all. Here we go.
I think that's what we're known best for.
There we go.
CY.
Whoa.
All right. Sorry, guys.
I have to get used to this whole like sending people the link through an email instead of the contact request because people don't seem to get the notification from Zoom.
All right. Sorry. I got to go grab my phone charger now. I'll be right back. Sorry.
Okay.
That is funny. He's having a day like I did.
Yeah. I was like that last week. I was like all flabbergasted trying to do everything.
Hey,
Why
we
is
still
it-
have 3 minutes left before we're technically supposed to start.
Okay. It says please wait till the host. Okay. So do we want to let Noah in now? Because he's trying to get in. He's in the waiting room right now, but I can tell him that we're going to wait until we introduce ourselves on the show. I
Well,
actually have to start
You
I
could.
actually-
Sorry. Go ahead.
I have to start sharing everything to Facebook right now.
Can't we let him in and then just unmute him and show his camera once we introduce him? Can we do that?
I don't know how to do that yet. All right. I'm just gonna let him in. I'm gonna let him in and then we'll say, okay, just like be patient until we get through the initial setup of
patient.
everything. Hey,
How's it
Tyler-
going?
What's
everything's
up, Noah?
okay. We can hear him, so everything is good. All right.
Hey.
I'm gonna start sharing everything to the Facebook groups and everything, and then we're gonna just kind of go over what the goals of the podcast are, and then we're gonna introduce you. We're all gonna do a flex. We're gonna do the headlines, and then go from there.
Awesome.
And then spotlight will be on you.
All right.
All right. So live, share to page I manage, Midnight Farmers Podcast.
Trying to get mine all focused. There we go.
That's a fancy little phone holder you got there, Paul.
Yes, I've had to try this tripod for a long time.
I'm trying to get out of this screen so I can, there we go. I'm trying to get into the Facebook screen and Zoom took over everything. Okay, now.
Noah, are you at work or is that like your home office?
Oh, this is actually where my regular work office is, but nobody's here for Thanksgiving, so I figured I'll come down where there's actually solid internet.
Nice.
Nice, okay. Midnight Farmer, Shiloh Farm, da da da, da da da. Go live. Okay, we are now going live to Facebook. Oh, Fro Bro is in my TikTok live right now.
He's probably looking for mine. I haven't started yet.
And I got Willowbrook Farms here. She was wondering, is it easier or better to watch on TikTok live or on the Victory Gardens? Like the stability or, you know, what is your guys' experiences been?
I would say if you want to comment live and possibly have us read it on the show and interact with everyone else, then you should definitely be in the Victory Gardens Revival Facebook page. Facebook group. I'm sorry, Victor Garden Survival Facebook group, because that is where everybody is going to be commenting live.
Perfect.
Right. Now I'm going to share this to the group and share this to the other group and sneak my way into a couple of other gardening groups. Let's see. Okay. I hate that I have to do this every single time, but just bear with me, guys. I have to make sure I set it as an announcement and put it to the top of the group so everybody can see it and get involved. All right, we're good.
We're good. All right.
We're good. That was easier, way easier than last week's show. That was a nightmare.
Yeah,
that was a nightmare in the beginning. I had to like edit out like 15 minutes of the beginning of the podcast from last week. I'm not gonna lie. It was like, oh my gosh, crazy. All right.
Well, we should start off with our disclosure first. Start off with the disclosure, because I always say stuff that will probably get somebody or all of us in trouble.
Yeah.
So let's just put the camera and get that out of the way.
Totally. All right, let's make sure we're recording. Yes, we are recording. All right. So welcome to the Midnight Farmers podcast, where we are talking about gardening, sustainability, farming, all kinds of craziness. We don't even have to wait for Farmer Froberg. He is just going to do his thing.
I'm here. Crazy.
Disclaimer, everything that we say on this show is our own personal opinions. If you don't like the opinions, you can find another podcast. If you want to stick around and deal with all of the craziness, then welcome. We are fam. So tonight we have on Noah from the Shiloh Farm below me here. Actually, on my screen, it's probably different on yours. But we have Salty Beardo, who is a TikTok personality. Everybody loves him. 59,000 followers, I believe he has now. And Farmer Froberg here, who runs Hope Farm in Texas. And it has a veterans training program, and they donate all kinds of food to food banks and some great stuff. So how are you guys doing today?
I'm doing great. So I'll start off on a high note here. I know
awesome.
Farmer Froberg is going to go into his story in a bit here. So I'm going to do a good one here. So I'm doing awesome. I'm doing great. Enjoying this day after Thanksgiving. So no complaints from me.
How'd Thanksgiving go for you guys? I mean, ours was good. It was our first Thanksgiving at home. We cooked a big bird and everything went really well. And I'm going to gain at least 10 pounds this week. So when I'm bigger next week, you'll know why.
I'm still gaining weight and still eating and still full after 2 days.
Gotta start working out.
I kind of feel like 2020 was unfair because I already was gaining weight just during quarantine before the holidays. So I didn't even have a chance to work it off.
I feel like we're all kind of stuck in that boat. I actually lost weight during quarantine. And the reason is I am doing a 1-year fast of any kind of fast food, any kind of takeout food, absolutely no delivery. And it has been I'm 11 months into that goal, and I feel so much better than I did a year ago. So
is there one place that you feel like you just are really excited to get back to, or not really?
Egg rolls. I have a soft spot for egg rolls. I really, really love them a lot, and I really miss them. It's not the same when you cook it at home.
Agreed. Well, at least coronavirus has helped in that regard, so I'm sure it makes it a lot harder to eat out.
Yeah, I don't even want to. No craving whatsoever. And we were getting into the habit of the 4 for $4 at Wendy's.
Oh yeah.
And now I'm like, oof, no. It was just a really bad habit. Every time we drove by, I was like, we could feed a family of 5 for $20. Let's do this. And you start to get into those bad habits. And I'm so glad that I broke that habit.
Yep.
For sure. All right. So what's up with you guys? What's your flex? Everybody got a flex for today?
Yeah. Actually, someone else go.
How about an anti-flex? I know you have an anti-flex.
Yeah, we'll get into that in a minute. Let's get all the flexes out of the way.
Okay. All right.
How about a flex for the week? Can we do flexes for the week?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, I'll start then. I guess it was probably Monday. We got the last bit of our field peas down, our winter peas, which is we use it as a cover crop, but we also harvest the pea shoots when they first germinate. And so, and then we got like a 3/4 of an inch of rain. And so that was just like rock star. Like we got all those peas down, and then we got a nice soaking. And so in about, 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks, our customers will enjoy some nice pea shoots in our CSA and at our farm store.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. All right, Salty, what's up? What you got?
I got a fence today. So that fence that I was going to be working on yesterday, finally got it up today. So for me, that's
fantastic. Yes.
Fencing. So glad that that's done.
Big win. All right, Noah, what's up? What's your flex?
Well, this is actually only my second time hatching eggs, and so far I did some candling, so they're not actually hatching yet, but I'm at like 85%, so I'm pretty positive about
That's awesome. I saw your candling video. That's pretty cool. That's really cool.
Pretty well.
I don't know. I guess my flex of the week is not very big at all. Well, I had a really great conversation with my cousin who I haven't talked to in a while, so that was really enjoyable. But I went to the Goodwill and I found an egg basket. And so now I have like an official egg basket. I'm really excited about it. It's such a nerdy thing, but I'm like, yes. I'm like in the store, like, am I officially a farmer yet? Like suburban farm. Wait until my neighbors see my egg basket. There's no hiding it now.
That's so funny.
Okay, so anti-flex.
Okay.
Everybody brace yourselves.
So, unfortunately, full backstory. So, for Thanksgiving, we were supposed to go to, our family's got a ranch in Flatonia, Texas, which is about 2.5 hours from here, towards San Antonio. And the weather was bad all across Texas this morning. And so we decided that we were just going to stay here at the house. No reason to go to the ranch if it was going to be raining anyways. So we decided to stay here. And Paul, whom I know a lot of my viewers know Paul from my lives, not Salty Paul, but Paul at Hope. He was covering the farm today, and it started with him sending me a picture of the lock cut on the ground, which is never a good sign. And then at that point, I just immediately hopped in the truck and started headed towards the farm. And I guess I was probably 10 minutes from the farm, and I just got an awful feeling in the bottom of my gut. And I called Paul and I just said, "What's missing?" And literally he said, "I'm standing in the container, and the tractor and the side-by-side is gone." And my trailer was at the farm. And I said, "Well, step outside. Did they take my trailer too?" And he paused for a minute. He said, "Trailer's gone too."
Oh, that hurt.
So once I got there, obviously the lock was cut on the gate. Now our containers that we store everything in, they have like big security locks on them. And if you've ever been in a welding shop, you'll know what I'm talking about. But when you take an acetylene torch and you burn metal, it's always got like black ash all around. Mm-hmm. It's usually real shiny.
Yeah.
That's what the area where the lock was like. Like they had taken some sort of acetylene torch or something and cut into it. And I had all the keys on me, but anyone who's been on a farm knows that a side-by-side, a tractor, whatever, right, within the same couple of years, same make and model, any key works.
That's a big job. That's a big heist right there. Are you looking for like tire marks? Because I'd be like investigating the tire marks in the ground and everything.
I mean, yes, and so we're just waiting now. I made a video earlier on TikTok and it's already received a whole lot of support, which I'm grateful for.
Mhm.
And for anybody listening, like we're not raising money or anything like that, right? We just want our equipment back.
Mhm.
We are a nonprofit farm, right? A non-for-profit farm, 501c3. Most of what we have is like grant funded and stuff. And so unfortunately, like we don't have a big operating budget, but still, nonetheless, like we're not begging for money. What we want is our equipment back. You know, and so I know a lot of people have been asking on that video how they can support, and truly the best way is just to share it and get the word out, because you know, by the 6 degrees of separation, everybody knows somebody in our area.
Yeah, let's
So,
find these crooks. Let's
yeah,
find
it's
them
like,
and get them in
and
trouble. Like they can't on Thanksgiving, guys. This is what happened to him on Thanksgiving.
yeah, it had to have been yesterday. And so, and I just want to say, you know, if it's someone we know and you're listening right now, okay, we're not harboring any feelings. I'm assuming that you came and you took from us because you were either hungry or, you know, you didn't have the means to do something. And so if you bring our equipment back, we will feed you, we will clothe you, we will shelter you, whatever you need. Just bring our equipment back, right? Like that. So it's really unfortunate, but we're going to get down to the bottom of it. And like I said, we're not asking for money. What we're asking for is our stuff back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
So a lot of people have already reached out to me and said, "Oh, we should do a fundraiser. We should do a fundraiser. The insurance is going to cover it." But you know, at the end of the day, the farm got robbed on Thanksgiving, and that's not a very thankful action for people to have. So please just return it so that he can take care of the farm and do the crops and everything the way that it needs to be done. Waiting for the insurance is usually a pain in the butt. So
Yeah. And
it
I
gets better.
appreciate everybody wanting to raise funds and all that. But if we're going to do a fundraiser, let's do it for someone who really, really, you know, needs it. We're not at that point yet.
Yeah.
Not saying we won't get there, but we're not at that point yet. Right.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
I really appreciate that. We're going to be okay. We're innovative farmers. Half of our equipment we've made ourselves. So we'll be okay. But I
DIY
really,
everything.
really appreciate everyone's support, your kind words, you know. And again, anyone listening who really wants to know what they can do, share the video, right? Comment, like on it, and then go buy from your local farmer. Best way to support, go buy from your local farmer.
Yes, everyone is saying that they're so sorry in
Wow,
the
thank you.
Facebook comments right now.
Thank you very much.
All right, let's switch gears here and go to Salty's headlines. What do you got for us, Salty?
All right, I got a bunch here. So I got one that I didn't print off because I had just read it in passing and didn't forward it to myself. But
Yeah.
you all remember that news article that I was talking about last week, the mink in Denmark and the mink in Utah. They're slaughtering all of these animals because they were afraid that the virus was mutating in these mink and it would make the vaccine ineffective. Well, this week they've come out and the mink are rising from the dead. So, have you
What?
guys heard this at all?
I think are
No.
rising
So,
like
okay,
zombies. We're talking about zombies.
this is 2020 for y'all.
Zom
So,
minks, actually. Zom minks.
Zombies. There you go.
so I had to look this up a little bit further because I'm like, okay, this is ridiculous. This seriously, we're not to The Walking Dead yet, so we still got a couple months yet. So apparently, what has happened is in Denmark they did not bury these mink deep enough, and as they decomposed, gases would build up and it would cause them to explode out of the ground. So these mink were blowing up out of the ground and being laid all over the place. So, it looked like these mink rising from the dead.
Welcome
So,
to
Who
2020.
who doesn't know how to bury things deep enough for that to not happen? That's what I want to know. Who was in charge of that job?
Honestly, I've never buried a mink, so
Yeah.
Okay, all right. All right.
well, and it gets even better because there's also concern that they buried them right next to the rivers and a bunch of water as well. So
Of course
they're
they
they're
did. Of
they're worried
course.
about it contaminating the water supply as well. So
Ay, ay,
there
ay.
you go. There's my follow-up from last week's mink story. So I can believe that when I saw that.
Oh my gosh.
All right, how many do I have here? How many headlines you guys want?
We could, I mean, let's talk, because we don't have to like rush through anything to wait for the guest to come on, because the guest is already here. No one's already here, guys. We
We're
were like,
I'm here for the
get Noah
headlines.
in right away because we know that he's got some awesome things to say. Let's just let him in.
Heck yeah.
Right from the start.
Well, here is a Thanksgiving one for you guys. How much do you think that farmers earn off of every dollar for Thanksgiving?
I could probably get close.
$1.
Yeah, if you spend $1, how much of that dollar goes to the farmer?
You know, this is a trick question though, because
10%.
it depends on where you're buying the food from. Because if you're buying it from me, I'm making 100% of it. But I understand the question, and you're talking about in a grocery store setting.
Yeah.
In a grocery store setting,
In a
I'm
big
gonna say
factory
it's
setting.
probably 2.5 cents per dollar.
I'm gonna say 8 cents.
and
I say 10%. I say 10 cents.
all right. So the winner is, if we're going by Price is Right rules, it's gonna be Penny.
Ooh,
So
we
it's
should-
actually 11.9 cents.
Oh, it's higher than I thought.
I did
Well-
my research, guys.
It's actually gone down since last year, though. So last year it was almost 13 cents. So it was, I'm sorry, a little over 12 cents. 12 cents. 12.1.
This is an average, huh?
Yes, it is. And it's nationally as
It's
well.
national, yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's going down. Okay, so let's think about that for a second. The people who are making and producing our food are getting paid nothing. They're getting paid pennies. Our food shortage issues are on the rise. All you have to do is go to Google and type in food shortages, and you will see that these issues are worldwide. It is everywhere. But let's not pay our farmers. In what universe? I know it's 2020, but in what universe does that make sense? It doesn't.
Well, and this is the thing. Food prices this year, on average, this is across all spectrums, is at 4%. And we know that a lot of the meats are a lot higher than that. But the overall inflation has only been 1.4%. So the food costs themselves are outpacing inflation in and of itself. So before they would use
a lot of money. A lot of money. to feed the family. I'm hearing that in certain areas, it's like 1 out of every 4 families is now going and accessing the food banks. And the food banks are really under some huge strain right now. Big
Well,
time.
I don't know if you guys had seen this, but there were the lines in those food banks as well that were lined up for miles outside as well. So,
you know what was lined up for miles in Pennsylvania? People getting tested for COVID.
Really?
Yes, my husband went to work and the line for the COVID testing was very, very long. And we got an alert on our phone, like an Amber Alert type of thing on our phones that said that hospitalizations are very, very bad right now. That it's increasing so badly that we need to hunker down, basically. It was an Amber Alert type thing that we got on our phones in Pennsylvania. It's kind of crazy.
That's intense.
Yeah, it is intense, and we're right next to New York, so we were in the first wave. Like we're right next to New York, so we were in the first wave from day one when this all started. So when I started Victory Gardens Revival, like nobody really understood why I was doing it, and I'm like, I'm in the first wave area. The grocery stores were empty. There's some issues, But
I got some more of that as well. So with those more worldwide stories here, let me see. One of the interesting things that came out of this particular article is that an individual from the government was saying that it's a moral imperative that we ensure every single American has access to the food they need. And their recommendation for this is where I would disagree with this particular article. They were recommending increasing the SNAP benefits. So putting the burden of food on the government, whereas I really think that we as individuals should be doing more like Victory Gardens, or like
Yeah.
Noah doing our more homesteading type of stuff. So it's not that more people should be providing for the less. We should be doing more for ourselves.
Yeah,
So.
I think that we the people need to unite and kind of rise up together and say, hey, enough is enough. Like, we don't need so much government involved in everything that we do. And you know, start to really affect people and get them on board with this kind of thing. So I'm going to show you guys my background right now. I did this kind of in honor of Noah, but this was the logo that I had made probably, I think in April when I started Victory Chickens Revival. This is what I did. There's a whole bunch of chickens on there. And now I'm disappeared and I can't, there we go. But that was just to encourage everyone to have chickens and be able to have chickens, be allowed to have chickens in the suburbs and all of these areas. I know like New York City, they're allowed to have chickens, but in where I am, which is not a huge city, we are not allowed to have chickens.
Really? They can't have them? You guys can't have them, but you can in New York City.
Yeah.
Really?
Wow.
Truth. Yeah.
That's
Isn't that crazy? You can have some chickens in Brooklyn, but you can't have them here. It's ridiculous.
Well, and where I lived, when I lived in the city a few years ago, we couldn't have chickens whatsoever either. And our neighbors that were in a different neighborhood than us, right behind us, like the yards actually touched, they could have chickens. And it was just how it was zoned, and HOAs and everything like that. It was just a different neighborhood, so to speak.
So crazy. So crazy.
Yeah.
We kind of just need to like wash over the laws and readjust them and say, hey, people need to eat. We're getting to a point where we need to eat. Let's let the people feed themselves. But I've dealt with people who have been fined for their gardens this year, $500 a day. Fined for their chickens, $500 a day. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely out of control. What do you say, Noah? You're very quiet.
I'm just kind of in shock I live in Nebraska, so we're a pretty conservative state to the point where we don't have those kind of restrictions. There are, even in the biggest town, Omaha, you can still have chickens and gardens. So I can't believe that we've gotten to a point where you're not allowed to have a garden to sustain yourself. That's,
yeah.
I don't know. I guess it's not in the Constitution or a Bill of Rights, but maybe that was an oversight by the founding fathers that gardening should be a right that you can have.
It really should be.
Well, I'm sure our founding father said, duh, we don't need to put that in there. That's
common sense. Common sense, exactly. I don't know. I would say it's the pursuit of happiness. I would say it's in there.
Oh, there we go. That we need a Supreme Court in your state to interpret it that way.
I need a good lawyer. Hook me up.
Straight up life, because it's food. You need food to live. So a pursuit of life. So make it.
Pursuit of life and happiness, and that includes being able to feed ourselves. So
for me, that's chickens, because chickens are life. So if you take my chickens away, I don't know what I am anymore.
Exactly. So speaking of that, Noah, why don't we get started? And do you want to give everybody a quick intro?
Sure. Yep.
And we're gonna really dive deep into a lot of your stuff. Just keep that in mind.
Okay. Hopefully not too far, but yeah.
We've been waiting for this.
My name is Noah Young, and I am with the Shiloh Farm. And really, the Shiloh Farm is an idea that we had really just this first year. I've always grown up in the country, but kind of like Danny said, with COVID and everything, it's not like I was ahead of the curve, but I could kind of see things coming and knew that if I was going to be prepared, one of the things that I wanted to be focused on was growing my own food. And so we decided to invest some more in chickens and really commit to our garden, and kind of get started that way. And so that was really where I got started. So I always kind of tell people I'm not an expert in anything. People always ask me all the time, like, hey, what do you do about this? What do you do about that? And for me, it's really just, I love to learn. I'm very passionate about what I'm doing. But I'm young. I'm only 24. So I've got a lot of room to grow and to learn. And while I'm doing that, I'm just trying to share as much as I'm learning with everybody on TikTok and Instagram and all of that. So for me, it's more of a desire to feed my family and to pursue kind of a simpler life that's a little more sustainable and not so reliant on other people, and then just sharing that with others so that they can do the same thing. So that's kind of why I'm really excited to be on this, because I know that's what you guys have with the Midnight Farmers podcast, is just kind of that goal to help farmers and to educate people and support them in any way possible. So
And that's what I loved about you from day one. I want to say you're one of the first people that was on my friends list on TikTok, like one of the originals. I'm not sure when you started your account, but I've been watching you this whole time, and I'm like, you know what? He's right there with me. I am not an expert, guys. I'm not even an expert gardener. It's more about the revival for me. I want a revival of people who are willing to learn and step up, because the average age of a farmer is what, 58? Or is it 50? I think it's 58.
it's
There's like
50.
30 different studies with 30 different ages, but
Yeah, but
late
at the
50s.
end of the day, the average age of a farmer is above 50. So
Very
if we don't start
Older than
getting
everybody here.
Huh?
Older than everybody here right now.
Look at that, Salty. You're finally in the younger crowd.
I know. I'll take it when I can.
He
So,
likes
so
playing the
Noah,
old man Winters card, like, oh, I'm so old.
so Noah, can we? So what I personally like to cover is your day-to-day job. I want to talk a little bit about that, how it plays into your passion for regenerative ag,
Yep.
and then maybe dive into your own, like your own homestead and what y'all's goals are for that and future planning and all that, and then of course talk about TikTok, because
Sure.
that's how we all met.
Yeah.
So can you tell everybody a little bit about what you do on your day-to-day, what
Yeah.
hitting
Yep.
the clock 40 hours?
So part of what, well, I'm going to go a little bit further back. I've always been interested in agriculture. My grandparents were all farmers up in Montana, but my parents were both school teachers. So I didn't really have the luxury of growing up on a farm. But being in Nebraska, where 1 in 4 people have a job in agriculture, it's just something I've kind of grown up with, and I've always had a love for animals, the cows and sheep and all that, and then just the outdoors. So it really fit that ag was something I was interested in. But it wasn't until I was in high school that I started working for farmers, and I got in with a company called Green Cover Seed. And the reason I got into that company was actually because there was a really cute girl at church that I wanted to date. And in order to date, I had to come work on the farm. And so it wasn't 7 years. I didn't have to work a total of 7 years, but I've actually been with this company since high school. So I've been here for 10 years.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And
Now, did you marry that girl?
I
Or?
did. Yep.
Okay, I was wondering where that was leading to.
We've been,
Yeah, I was going to say, did you get the girl? But I mean, marrying the girl's even better.
I did get the girl. We've been married for 3 years and have 2 kids. So I do work for my in-laws, which is, has its challenges, but it's also a wonderful opportunity to not grow up on a farm, but then to kind of marry into that. And so the company that I work for, we have 2,000 acres of farm ground. It's called Providence Farms, and then we also have Green Cover Seed. And it's really interesting how that ties together, because what we're doing with our cover crop seed company, we're really focused on regenerative agriculture, soil health, and that kind of movement. So to be able to have a testing grounds, our own farm of 2,000 acres to try these things out before making recommendations is a huge kind of an asset that sets us apart from other seed companies where they're a business. We were started by farmers. That's what we are. We just happened upon this business. And so my day to day is developing cover crop mixes for all across the country. I sell to all 50 states actually this year.
Awesome. That's wonderful.
Yeah. Yep.
So our viewer and listener base is extremely diverse. I like to say it's multidimensional, right? From
Yeah.
gardeners to homesteaders, all the way up to medium to large agriculturalists, full-time farmers. However, there might be some people who are not familiar with the term cover cropping or its uses. So could you define that for us?
Yeah, absolutely. So most people are familiar with crops, whether that's corn or soybeans or wheat. And what a cover crop is something that's not a cash crop. So those cash crops, the corn, the wheat, soybeans, are things that you harvest and then you sell those back into the market. Either that's food or it's just a commodity. The cover crop you're planting not with the intent to harvest it, but it does a couple different things. There's many different goals with cover crops. The biggest are for us to improve the health of the soil. Because if you think about farming, so often we're applying synthetic things, we're spraying it with herbicides and pesticides, and I'm not going to get into my views on that, but we're taking a lot from the land every single year, harvesting that crop, and we're taking a lot off. The cover crop is our chance to actually go in after you harvest your crop, right? We still need to make money, so we're still paying bills, but you go in after your cash crop, plant that cover crop, and you invest in the soil naturally. Using living roots of those cover crops to improve the soil, and then terminate that before your next cash crop. Or there's also what's called forage crops. So that's when you plant a crop that you're not going to harvest, but you can put livestock on. Paul can run his sheep through a cover crop if he wants to. And that's a great way to still get some benefit out of it from a financial standpoint. You're growing feed, but you're not taking that produce off, that carbon off of the soil all the time.
So are almost all of your customers exclusively like row crop farmers? No, you don't have a lot of vegetable farmers or anything like that, or?
Yep. So the primary customer would be row crop farmers. However, we do a lot, and especially this year, we had a lot of gardeners that are getting into cover
Oh,
crops.
small sales.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yep. Just because
Good.
here's what I find interesting about it. Large row crop farmers they're innovative, but there's a smaller minority of people that are
Yeah.
looking for new things to do on large, 10,000 acres. Gardeners seem to be the ones that are always they're the organic ones, right? They're always looking for quality. They're looking for how they can improve things, how they can get more profit and add value to their crop. So it kind of blends well with the gardeners because they're already on this track. They're thinking, what can I do to improve? And so we've had a
Absolutely.
lot of
I
interest
agree.
from gardeners for sure.
I agree 100%. Having the group for so many months, you get to hear what everybody's opinions of things are and what their goals are and what they're really working towards. And I would agree with you 100% on that one
Yeah.
for
And
sure.
I'm sure just on the business side of it, if you're selling smaller amounts to more people, your profit margins are probably higher on those smaller amounts
Well,
versus
yeah.
selling, thousands and thousands of pounds to one person.
Yep. So one of the things that sets us apart from other like cover crop seed companies is everything we do is custom because you can buy cover crops from people. The problem is there isn't a one size fits all. And I think in agriculture we're so used to I just want a silver bullet. Like just tell me what I need to do to improve.
Yeah.
That doesn't work. Every single operation is different. Even if I was to go tell, Danny how to raise her chickens, she has a different life than I do. So when she does chores versus when I do them is going to be completely different. Um,
Definitely. You don't have to go under your porch to access yours.
Yeah, so I'm not going to give Danny advice on how to crawl under her porch if I don't know what that's like. So we really focus on the custom aspect of doing these cover crops. And so the logistics standpoint of that is it's really hard to do custom for, 100 square feet.
Yeah.
And so what we've done is we've did some pre-made blends that you can purchase that will be specifically for gardeners. And so we tried to make it as easy as we possibly can for gardeners to get into cover crops. And usually what I'll do is I'll take that as kind of a base for my mix, and then I'll add a couple different things in there to still make it custom, but then we don't have to charge them labor of mixing and bagging and all that. So really, the margins are really not that different for us. It's not about making a ton of money as much as it is making a difference in the acres covered.
I love that.
So this
I could
year,
I could tell from day one that you've been trying to make a difference. I could tell that you are constantly with your nose in the internet trying to find all kinds of facts and information to give to everyone. And that's why I was so excited to have you on the show. I think everybody needs to go follow you. There are, there are farmers who just go on here and they do goofy things and stuff like that. But like 100%, you're on here like education, education, education. And I love it because I learned so much from you. The fact that like yesterday, I think you put out a video about the earlobe color of the chicken and that
Yeah.
being the color of the egg that you're actually going to get from that chicken blew my mind. I had no idea. I was like, that's why I love him. He's really got all those weird little facts that you didn't know that you wanted to know, but you definitely wanted to know them.
I'd like to say I just came up with all those, on my own, but no, it's like I said earlier, it's just something that I'm constantly trying to learn and try to share that. So yeah,
Fantastic.
Salty's gonna have to confirm whether or not his olive eggers actually have all olive egg earlobes. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. Maybe I'll go ahead and I'll duet that one tomorrow for you.
There you go. There you go.
So,
Definitely.
okay, so let's dig a little bit more into the benefits. So we know obviously the obvious of building your organic matter layer over your soil with cover cropping. What else are we looking at? I know a little bit of tillage too, right? A little bit of natural tillage, especially if you're using something like a beet or a turnip cover crop, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it all again goes back to the goals, and I'll stress that over and over of, it completely depends on what you're trying to accomplish with a cover crop. A lot of guys are trying to, the first thing, just to keep the soil covered. We went through a dust bowl in the 20s and it's been 100 years and it seems like a lot of people kind of forgot about that. So we're trying to focus on keeping the soil covered. There's a lot of benefits to having that soil armor on there. Water infiltration is a big one for people. They'll say that cover crops use too much moisture. Well, they actually improve your infiltration rate because you can get an inch of rain, but how much of that inch of rain actually went into your soil versus just
Exactly.
completely running off into a river? We got nitrate issues that people are concerned about.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
got to worry about how much of that rain is actually getting into your soil
So
and
for
storing.
anybody listening, organic matter has, I can't remember what the exact number is, but it's like 100% of the water holding capacity of sand, silt, or clay.
Yep.
Like it's a measurable difference. It's insane. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yep.
I love that you mentioned the Dust Bowl because I like that kind of history and I watched a whole documentary about that and I feel like people are just unaware of the past. And like if you're unaware of the past, history is going to repeat itself.
Yep.
So that just
You know, you know what movie does a really good job? Interstellar doing that.
Yes. Yep.
They're in like a second Dust Bowl in like the 2030s or whatever year it was.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
For sure.
Cool.
So
I
that's
saw that movie. I don't remember.
the big main concept. I think, didn't they have to try to find life somewhere else because they were pretty much
Yeah.
couldn't grow anything on Earth anymore?
Yeah, like all these crazy blights and stuff, like
Yeah.
destroying all the food growing process. It's
Yep.
an intense movie.
So
I
that
think I read something at like as much as 40% of the farmlands are now just like kind of unusable because the mycorrhizal fungi is gone and people haven't been using cover crops or they've been spraying chemicals and all kinds of things on the land. I think it's like 40%. Like there's only 60% that is usable. I think I got that from the Dirt documentary, I believe.
Yeah, and I'm not 100% sure on those numbers. I'm gonna just roll with it and say that's 100% true.
Well, everything on this podcast is our opinions.
Okay. That's right. That's why we had the disclosure, right?
Exactly. Right
The
away.
good thing is, though, even with that land, I'm glad you brought up mycorrhizal fungi because we can, and there are tons of people that we can point to now that have proven this. You can take a piece of unusable soil and using not just cover crops, there's a variety of other things. It's not the silver bullet, but using that as a key component. One of the main things that we are now finding out is about the life that's in our soil. So many farmers just see it as something that's dead and worthless because it is in conventional agriculture. It is dead. You've killed it.
Yeah.
But when we look at the amount of life that's actually in soil, there's more life in a teaspoon of soil than there are people on this planet.
True.
We don't even know, we can't even comprehend all the life that's going on in the soil. So using the biology, which is again another huge thing with cover crops, you're having a living root and biology needs something alive that it can live on. Having that living root allows the biology to improve the soil. And that's what we're finding out now is the biology is really what's driving everything at this point. Cover crops are just a way to help that. They're just a vehicle and a home for them.
What I've actually been doing, and I'd love to discuss this a little bit, Noah, is I've been using a mycorrhizal fungi inoculant
Yeah.
when I seed stuff. Um, and we're seeing like an extra, obviously not brassicas are not mycorrhizal fungi plants, but anything but a brassica, we've almost exclusively on, and just a crazy difference.
Yeah.
Do y'all sell any inoculants, or do you encourage your customers to utilize any type of bio inoculants? Or
So everything that we have, if there's legumes in it, we inoculate with it's an organic, it's just a live bacteria basically. So it's not like we're applying anything synthetic or it's a chemical.
yeah,
It's absolutely an organic substance of life that we apply to all of our seeds that go
so
out. There's
we're not receiving any money for this, but do y'all use Mycomax? Is that the product
Yep,
you use?
yep, that is
See,
what we do.
yeah,
This podcast sponsored by Mycomax. Maybe
yeah,
we can
I
get
use.
some
Oh
money out of
yeah,
this.
if you want to sponsor us,
Well, so
definitely.
no, guys, I'm actually a Mycomax dealer for Texas. That's
Oh,
right.
no kidding.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. Well, great. I'm glad y'all use it.
Yeah, 100%.
So I had a question here for you, Noah. Let's say, I don't know anything at all about what I need to do for cover crop. I call your business. What is the first thing that you would do with a customer in a situation like that?
Yeah. So again, I'm going to ask kind of what your goal is, what you're trying to accomplish with that cover crop. We always try to make sure we at least get your zip code, because with your zip code, we can pull up a lot of historical data about your rainfall, your soil type. And then we always ask kind of when you're planting, what your planting window is going to be for selecting the species that I'm going to recommend. There's primarily, you've got your cool season species, those that you plant in the spring and in the fall. And then there's ones that you plant during the summer, your warm season species. So knowing that window helps me kind of figure out what you're wanting, and say that you're really wanting nitrogen and you're low in nitrogen. Well, then I'm going to focus on legumes that are going to improve that. If you have compaction issues, then like Froberg said, I'm going to add some turnips and I'm going to add some radishes to it. So just different species that we can have. We've got 120 different seeds in stock. So how long have I been doing sales? 3 years. And I still feel like I'm continually learning what these species do. But I'd like to say I'm semi-confident that at this point, I know what at least those 120 things will do by themselves. But we're not always confident saying, because every mix is custom, I've never done this blend before, so I'm not going to guarantee anything. But by having 8-9 things in there, say 2 of them don't work, you've got 7 things that still worked really well. And so we
that
kind of cover our
diversity
base
is
that
a
way.
good thing with everything, like
Yeah.
definitely.
What I like about what you just said is the type of biodiversity that you would be, each one of those plants uses different mycorrhizal fungi. So you're not just having your biodiversity above the soil, you're creating more biodiversity below the soil.
Yep.
That's what I meant to say.
So that's one thing that I think I'm lacking on at Hope. We're diversified from vegetable production, but in my cover crops, I
Yeah.
think I haven't, of course, it's a little bit different on a road vegetable farm.
Yeah.
But I'm going to I need to talk to you more offline about creating a diversified cover crop mix for row vegetables.
Yeah.
It's funny because Nicole Page is saying the same exact thing that you're saying. Man, I could bend Noah's ear forever. So if you guys have questions, you guys who are live on Facebook right now, if you have questions, drop some questions for Noah in the comments and we'll ask them for you.
Absolutely.
Well, and
Yeah.
I have some really good accounts on right now. We have Reverend Wild Ranch that said cover crop, solid topic, and then FSJ Farmstead, loving this topic. So
Awesome. Yes.
Definitely.
So Noah, I'm curious. Okay, so your fall and winter look completely different from my fall and winter. So, and I mean, I would arguably say that my fall and winter looks completely different from all 3 of y'all's fall
Yeah.
and winter.
I was about to say that. I was waiting for that.
Me and
So
Sophie are in the same zone.
yeah, oh yeah, that's right, and y'all's zone, I'm sure, looks similar. Yours may even be more extreme, huh, Noah, than theirs.
We're zone 5A, so yeah, it's
5A.
it's
So
probably
I'm
going to be
9.
similar.
I'm 9AB, right on the border of 9A/B.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and the six
uh,
A.
6A or 6B, something like
I'm
that. Yeah.
I'm curious as to, so John Doe corn farmer comes, your neighbor comes and, lays down his goals for, wanting to start a cover crop program. I'm curious as a season by season breakdown for that. And then I'd like to dive into some of these other growing zones, if that's all right.
Sure. So somebody from my zone comes to me with a cover
Yeah.
crop recommendation.
I'm curious, you know, walk us through the spring. I feel like I have an idea of what it would be, but I'm really curious on the winterization. Like what kind of cover cropping are they doing as they prepare for, like, I mean, I don't know, does y'all's ground freeze? Like I can't even imagine your winters. So I'm just trying to understand what that even
I'll
looks
I'll help
like.
you out and tell you that our ground has been frozen for about 4 weeks. So yes, we do freeze.
Froggy
And
doesn't brag
for the
about
rest,
his weather, just to let you know.
Oh yeah, I've noticed on TikTok all these sunny days that he's out
I was
filming.
gonna
I'm
say,
like, I can't film. There's a blizzard outside.
Yeah.
on Wednesday, I picked peppers, tomatoes, and eggplant. So
I have nothing. No
where's-
more
where's-
garden.
Where's my mute button?
so if you could, like, I'm curious, like, starting, like, let's just say, I don't know, April 1st, right? I'm trying to think about when your spring would start.
Yeah.
April 1st, it starts with spring. Take us through all the way to April 1st of the next year.
Sure. So I'm going to do it a little bit differently just because I don't want to get very specific. But basically what we do is if there's anything in the spring, the two big ones that we focus on would be corn and soybeans, just because that's what we have most around here.
Same here.
And I'll be honest, if it's before corn, really not a lot of options because they're getting in so early. Our last frost here is sometime like in April 15th. So guys are putting corn in at last frost. They can plant oats and peas like in February. Those are something that you can grow. If it's 20 degrees, oats and peas will grow. But unless they're doing organic corn and planting later into June, there really isn't any option for what you did that spring. So that is just comes with the nature of what they're growing, a long season crop. And that's kind of the issue with corn that we've got now is we're trying to get yield. So they're growing a really long season, 110-day corn that grows until September, October. But in October, then you can plant rye. Rye is one of the best ones. It's the most commonly used cover crop because you can plant that and it'll germinate at 36 degrees. So we've planted that in December when we've been frozen for 8 weeks. We'll plant it as long as we can get it in the ground and it's thawed up enough. We can get it a half inch under. It'll germinate and still come back in the spring. Rye is an amazing plant.
I have a simpleton kind of question, and I
Sure.
can say that because it's coming from me. But all right, so cover cropping. It's not something that I'm so familiar with that I've actually seen it. So when you plant microgreens, you take like a bunch of seeds and you put them all in the same spot and you want them to grow real thick. Is that what you do when you cover crop, or is it just like when you're planting a garden here and there? Or is it something that you like fill the whole thing with?
Yeah, so you're going to cover the whole area. You're not going to plant it as thick as what you're doing with microgreens.
Okay.
So we'll take what the recommended rate is for it's called the full rate. So rye is 80 pounds to an acre. That's what
okay.
you're supposed to plant. So if somebody says they want a thinner stand, or they're planting it with something else, we do a little bit less. And if they really want it really thick because they want to cover the weeds, then we'll go a little bit heavier than that.
Okay. Good to know. Now I
Yeah.
learned something.
And you can a lot of guys will, if they've got the equipment, they'll plant it using a drill or an air seeder. And then a lot of people, these small gardeners are just going to broadcast it, kind of rake it in, incorporate it somehow.
Okay. Good to know.
Noah, I'm curious, are there any of your row crop farmers who intercrop at all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So that was another thing I was going to bring up is for those guys that are harvesting in October, November, and their window is so short to be able to plant anything. There's a lot of people that are doing two different things. They'll do what's called interseeding. So they'll actually plant into their corn at V4, which basically just means there's 4 leaves on the corn. It'll be about a foot tall. they'll actually plant their cover crop in between those rows. It germinates a little bit. It gets about that tall, and then the corn canopy covers it. And you can't grow anything without sunlight. So once the corn canopy is covered and there's no sunlight getting under there, those plants will just kind of sit like this until the leaves dry down on that corn, and that plant then all of a sudden after harvest starts shooting up. And so you've got it's basically a way to jumpstart your cover crop and grow it while your corn crop is growing at the same time. People will do that because one of the biggest expenses with corn is nitrogen. They'll apply 120 pounds of nitrogen. Well, you can actually grow legumes in the middle of your corn rows to produce natural nitrogen for that corn crop while it's in the ground. It doesn't produce
So,
all of it, but it's an amazing way to use nature to do what nature's supposed to do.
Yeah,
that's specifically why I asked, because it's almost like 2 steps of the 3 sisters, right?
Yeah.
A legume, a corn.
Yep.
Oh, the 3 sisters.
Yeah,
I
3
have
sisters.
heard that. I was going to ask what it was, but
Yeah, so 3 sisters is a squash, a legume, and then a corn.
yes.
And I'll plug this real quick just because we're giving it away, so it's not like I'm plugging anything for me, but we do have
Feel free to plug yourself. It's okay. That's what we're here for.
We have what's called the Milpa mix. So we took the Three Sisters concept, which they've had in Mesoamerica for 4,000 years, and it was corn, squash, and beans.
You're echoing for some reason.
I hear that.
It's coming through. You're coming through. You got to turn the volume. I don't know. Ruh-roh. We thought we were tech problem free, but here we go.
I know. I'm not sure why that even happened.
Telling you, guys.
Yeah, it's still happening. I don't know what's going on.
I don't know. Do you want?
Oh, it's gone.
Is it gone?
Yep, it's gone.
Yes. Oh,
We're good. We're good.
every show, I swear, we're like haunted or something.
I was like, I didn't touch anything. I'm not
I
sure.
know you didn't touch anything.
They just didn't want me. I brought up Mesoamerica, and they didn't want me to talk about that, apparently.
Oh, because today is Indigenous Day, isn't it? National Indigenous Day. Is that what you were thinking?
Negative. It was actually going to be pro Indigenous Peoples Day. They came up with this amazing concept called the Three Sisters, and they knew 4,000 years ago that these plants actually work, and we make it seem like it's such a whoa, you can plant 3 things at the same time. Well, if you go out into any field that hasn't been touched or farmed, I guarantee you there's more than just one thing growing. And so what we're trying to do is mimic nature. And so what we've done is we've taken the Three Sisters, which is what they would have had at the original Thanksgiving. So it's perfect timing to talk about this. We took that concept, we've added, we're up to 40 different seeds. It could be lettuces, asparagus, or not asparagus, lettuce, I'm blanking on all the things, radishes, turnips, green beans. There's 40 different kind of vegetable crops. And we've got this mix that we do, and we donate up to an acre's worth of seed to people that are willing to either do like an FFA educational event or a field day, or if they're willing to donate some of that produce to a food bank or to a church or a similar entity. So it's not kind of to the scale that Tyler's doing as a nonprofit, but we're wanting to empower people that want to take an acre of otherwise unused ground and grow some food. And so we donate the seed for that. So if that's something that, if anybody's live and they're interested in growing food for people, we'll give you the seed as long as you're willing to help other people out. You just have to go to milpagarden.com and you sign up.
Can you say that URL one more time and give the little like the little 20-second plug one more time? And
Milpa?
Yep, it's called Milpa, MILPA, garden.com. And if you don't get it there, you can go to greencoverseed.com and just search Milpa. The term Milpa actually just is a Mesoamerican term for cultivated field. And like I said, we'll donate up to an acre's worth of seed for anyone that's willing to donate that produce to a food bank or to a church or really any family member. What we'd love is for people.
That's fantastic.
We'd love people to invite their friends out and say, hey, pick your own food. This is what we did to grow it, and
now does that include people in the city who want to grow in, say, like an empty lot? Would you guys also give them seed as a nonprofit?
Yep, we've yet to turn anybody away, as far as, even if I had somebody say, hey, I didn't had a horrible year, I didn't grow anything, can I pay for the seed? We're not even going to hold you to, we want you to try, but we're not, nature is nature.
That's great.
It doesn't work.
That is so fantastic. I had no idea that you were involved in all of this stuff. I just loved that you were like informing people, and now I just have such a bigger appreciation for you. I had no idea that you were involved with all of this.
That was the
awesome.
company policy. So that's one of the reasons I like to plug Green Cover, just because they're really doing a good job of practicing what they're preaching, for sure.
And for anyone listening, we'll make sure to plug that link in somewhere.
Oh yeah.
Somewhere
I'll put that link on my website.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Where we have all of our TikTok friends links, I will put that in there. I have to do that this week. I'm thinking maybe next week we don't have a podcast, so that I can catch up with the abundance of things that I have to do in order to run the podcast.
Well, this one could probably be split into two, because I have a feeling we're not even close to being done.
Oh no, I'm enjoying myself. I think we could chill here for a while.
Oh, here we go. Let's do this, guys. Stay tuned for part 2. Pause for effect.
Are we an hour in? Is that what?
And welcome back to the Midnight Farmers podcast.
Oh, we're at an hour and 8 minutes. Wow.
Yeah. Okay, so
guys, we can really talk.
I feel like that was an incredible breakdown of not just cover cropping, but regenerative ag as a whole. Mm-hmm. Noah, before we move on into talking about your own personal goals, your family's goals, your home and chickens, is there anything that any more you want to add to regenerative ag or cover cropping or anything else?
Yeah. Pretty much the last thing I want to say on that topic, and I'll probably honestly get into that when I'm talking about my own farm, but is really just support your local farmers, and not just farmers that are local, but those that are paying attention to what they're doing for not just the environment or how they're growing their food, but Tyler and I were having a conversation on the actual quality of food. There's actually a device that's coming out they've got it working in California, in Silicon Valley. They can actually measure the nutrient density of food. They're programming it right now they've got carrots down, they've got tomatoes and apples, but you will hopefully in 2025 is their hope that with your smartphone, you can scan food in the grocery store and it will tell you how nutrient dense that food is. And when that happens, that's going to be a game changer, because as consumers, we can now tell how, comparing apples from the store, from the organic ones to my local farmer. That's going to be a game changer that I don't think
is going to be a game changer.
I don't think most farmers are ready for that.
That's going to make it highly competitive. I think it's going to be very competitive.
But it's going
literally comparing apples to apples.
Yes, that's right.
Come full circle with that one. Yeah.
It's going to put a lot of pressure on farmers that aren't doing things regeneratively to all of a sudden have proof that, oh man, what I'm growing is not actually a quality product. So that should be a scary thing for those that aren't looking at regenerative agriculture. For those that are, you guys are already one step ahead of the process, to the point where you can use that that's leverage. I mean, that's an asset that you can promote and be proud of, that look how much better my produce is because of the practices that I'm doing.
You guys heard it here. Get ahead of the curve, guys. You got insider information. It's going to happen in a couple of days. Get ready for it.
Not yet heard of this.
Me either.
I will look up the link and I will send it to you. Yes. I believe it's called the Biometer.
You're gonna need to pencil us in. Okay. So November 2025, we're gonna revisit this. Go ahead and pencil us in on your calendar. And we will revisit this, and I'll show off the labels we've made for Hope Farms for all of our produce that says "Scan Me" on it.
There you go.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes, and it's so funny. I feel like I've had this conversation once this week already, but so strange. Okay. That's just that blew my mind. It really did. Like that, I know we're gonna have a lot of advancements. I know that there's a plan in place and a lot of things are going to be changing for us when it comes to agriculture. But that sounds like a positive. That sounds like we are going to be competing for quality of food, and that is what we need.
Yeah. And
It
to
is so needed.
even put it on a national scale, there are companies, General Mills is probably the biggest one, that they know this is coming, and so they're trying to kind of get ahead of it with their cereal, and they're actually implementing programs for the Carbon Project, carbon initiatives, using cover crops. So if you are in North Dakota growing oats for General Mills, they're offering to pay people to go through regenerative courses in order to do this. So there are big companies like General Mills that are knowing that this is coming and trying to get ahead of that curve. So it's not just something that's happening in small organic circles. It's affecting big brands as well.
It's corporate size.
Noah, in our conversation earlier, you heard me use the term farmers is farmers. Like, you know what I mean? Me personally, I don't care what, there's no sides. You know what I mean? It's like farmers is farmers. And a lot of us are, we're becoming even more and more familiar with regenerative practices. So to hear something like that, I love to stand by the statement that farmers is farmers, right? It's like, guys even growing for General Mills are, getting on board with utilizing regenerative tactics.
That makes me so happy because I'm one of these people that's like against the corporation. And when I hear that they're actually freaking stepping up their game, it really makes me excited. Like that makes me feel just a little better than some of the practices that are going on.
Yep.
So cool.
That's amazing. Was there anything else, Noah? That was it.
I think that's it. Other than that, it does excite me because I feel like for so long I remember being in college looking at how the public's view is of farmers, and it was so skewed.
So bad.
This is going to be the opportunity for farmers to be the heroes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And farmers, we know that. Like we try to pat our own backs all the time, and I think this is going to be the chance that we are actually doing something and shed some positive light on what we're doing. So
that's that's why I'm here. That's why I started this. When I first started talking to Salty and Froggy here about starting the podcast and everything and why I was doing what I was doing, it was like, I want to be your cheerleader. I want to be the cheerleader for the farmers because I'm so sick and tired of seeing it in the media. The second people start talking about gardening, farming, all that kind of stuff, people automatically, because they're taught that in movies, in TV shows and all that kind of stuff, that it's boring and you shouldn't pay attention. I think if we are supposed to pay attention to one thing in particular, it should be our food. And we should be appreciating all the people who are out there doing the job that you don't want to do so that you can, have food at the end of the day. Hopefully this podcast will continue, and we're going to keep talking about stuff like this because I already learned so much just in this one episode.
And I hate to keep, I do want to move on, but you mentioned food and looking at food. If there was a study done in the 1970s and they looked at the amount of iron, the amount of calcium, all of the nutrients that were in food. Mm-hmm. And if you go back to that study and then look at the food that we have now, I don't have the numbers, so these aren't accurate, but it was things like iron was down 25%, calcium was down 42%. I mean, to the point where our food is literally a quarter less valuable. We're getting a quarter less nutrients out of the food that we eat. So it's no wonder that we're having to ingest more food just to keep up with the amount of nutrition that we're actually getting from it. So that's it. I promise that's my last.
It really has to do with the crop is picked, and then you have a certain amount of time and those nutrients start to break down over those days, right? So what we're doing currently is we're taking a crop, we're shipping it across the world sometimes, and then we're shipping it back to ourselves. Like it's getting processed in like China and stuff, and then shipping it back here. And then when by the time you're buying it, it's not what you think it is. It really isn't. And everyone is suffering because of vitamin deficiencies and, all kinds of things. And we shouldn't have that. It shouldn't be that system.
Well, and I was going to say here too, Noah, is that I saw a similar study, very, very similar, but they had gone even back further into like, I think even the 30s and the 40s. And those numbers even went back further. So what we have now, and again, I don't know the exact numbers, but it was like 70% more, almost 80 years ago. So you take what you had from the 70s, that was the 30 or 40%, and then go back another, it still was even degrading at that point.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I just read some history too. So like Victory Garden started because of the war and we had to do that. And then kind of immediately after that, we switched to this whole like TV dinner phase where we went through TV dinners, and then McDonald's waved in, and then it was fast food. And the food system has just broken down to something that is unrecognizable from thousands and thousands of years of our ancestors would not recognize what we are doing with food now.
The pendulum is swinging though. And I'm sure that Tyler can even attest to that. I do feel like look how many like Blue Apron, HelloFresh, these companies that are like really trying to focus on quality ingredients and make this stuff at home for yourself. I do think that the next generation is kind of, I don't know if it's just that they have more disposable income to spend on food or what it is, but I do feel like there is a switch, and it's swinging a little bit back towards people caring a little bit more about what they're eating.
For sure. And so I can talk just real like 30 seconds about like our average customer, right? Our average customer, because we're completely direct to consumer, they're either over the age of 55 or under the age of 30. Right. Yeah. So you're seeing this interesting shift. There's, in other words, we're missing that gap of TV dinner generation, right? We're under that age, or we're above the age of either the people who grew up eating real food or the people who are really concerned with it and want to start eating real food.
Yes, absolutely. I have been meeting a lot of people younger than me who are all dead set about Victory Gardens and the movement, and let's have these, farms in the middle of a neighborhood somewhere. And they are predominantly younger people, and I love it. I love that. It gives me hope. For sure.
Yeah.
Yep. So, Shiloh Farm. What is Shiloh Farm? Where's it going?
Yes. Well,
BHAG.
Yeah. First, what's your big, hairy, audacious goal?
Okay. So my big goal, long-term, is to have our own land. I'd like to build a house. Right now, to give you a backstory, we're just renting 5 acres from my dad. So we've got a little house there, but my wife wants like Duggar amount of kids, like at least 10. So the house we're in is way too small. So my dream is to buy enough land that I can run a herd of bison, and then build our house. We want to get a log cabin and build that. And ultimately, I would love to do TikTok for a living and just my farm. But in the meantime, I've still got my day job, so I'm not quitting that anytime soon. But no, I would love to just have the farm. It's always been something that I've wanted to do, just not something that I can inherit. So I kind of have to work for it. But I think that's good because it allows me to start small, learn, even with the chickens and the sheep and the goats. I'm trying to just learn how to take care of these livestock that I've never had before I move up into bison, which is my ultimate goal.
It's so funny. It's so funny because I had made a joke to Salty in one of our comments the one day, and I said that I wanted a buffalo. And literally the next, like, I was like, no, I'm not doing rams. I'm doing buffalo. And the very next day you started talking about bison on your TikTok, and I'm like, that's so crazy. Like, what are the odds of both of us talking about,
Well, I think Salty Beardo needs to get some bison next year, and then he can be the guinea pig to figure out how it works. And then we'll just
Now,
learn from him.
I'm working on getting more land. I'm maxed out right now. These animals are eating my forage like nothing else. So,
Yeah.
So shout out to Katera Exotics, who in Richmond, Katy, Texas area. That's where I purchase our bison and our beef from. They're
Awesome.
local here. Yeah, really, really, really good grower.
Fantastic. Someone said, watch out for bison. They can be a little nutty. They're not like cows like a lot of people think they are. Thanks for the tip.
Yeah. I got into bison actually. I sold cover crop seed to somebody that had Sleepy Bison Acres as their Gmail. And so I was like, I've got to look into this customer. So I sold him cover crop seed that his bison actually grazed. And so I was able to get some of the bison meat from him. And so I've have some connections now in the bison industry. And it is amazing how different buffalo are. Some of them are up there petting them, and others are like, we don't touch them, we don't preg check, we just let them do their thing, and that's about it.
Awesome.
That is really cool. Someone on Facebook said a majority of stuff in the grocery store is not really food. It's what we were taught to call food. And that was from a supporter. That I completely understand your sentiment, and I agree wholeheartedly. Buffalo milk is a huge thing right now, says Louise from Canada.
I didn't know you could milk a buffalo. That sounds like a dangerous job.
What was that?
Did I just get spammed or trolled? Was that a troll comment that I just read on the podcast then?
No, not at all. I know who Louise is. She's great.
Okay.
So.
I never heard of buffalo milk until I just read it on
talking about milking a chicken, then I think we're okay.
Yeah.
So
chickens do you have?
You want to raise bison. Shiloh Farm wants to raise bison. What other enterprises are y'all thinking you're going to take on?
I'm really into if you guys are familiar with like Gabe Brown or Joel Salatin.
Oh yeah.
All these guys that are into stacking enterprises. That's really what I'm interested in. So that's kind of why we started with the chickens was I really feel like it's just the easiest. It's the gateway drug to farming, honestly.
Yeah. Hey, shout out to the Godfather, Joel Salatin, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
He tokened the term the chickenness of the chicken.
You guys need to have Joel Salatin on next if you can book him.
I don't think we could afford Joel Salatin.
I don't know who he is, but I will try.
He was on Joe Rogan like 2 months ago. I don't think we could afford him.
Listen, we're gonna be the next Joe Rogan podcast.
I hope so. I bet you we could, because Joel Salatin trains farmers too. Yeah. I bet you we could get a Salatin trained farmer on.
For sure.
Let's tell them that the Midnight Farmers are, we want to be a nonprofit and we want to do all this stuff. Please come on our show and give us some hype and help us
TikTok
out.
Can really be powerful, because what I've found out is when you get followers on TikTok that are honestly like following you, not just somebody that clicked a button on a video, but your actual true followers. And I'm sure all of you guys know who those people are in your head.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
When you put that call out and you get 50 people to send Joel Salatin an email that says, hey, you should be on the Midnight Farmers podcast. That is the benefit of having a TikTok community.
That is like literally what happened with me and Brothers Produce.
Oh yeah. That's literally what happened.
Them.
And then he played guitar for everyone live.
And I played guitar for everybody for doing it.
Oh man.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I was saying this earlier in my live. This is the first of what we're doing. Never before in the history of the world has there been a TikTok where a whole bunch of people decided to get a podcast together and then create a revival of people who actually give a crap about food and farmers and all kinds of things. And I am just so excited because we're the pioneers of this.
You're the early adopters, for sure.
and I'm not going to stop. I'm going to keep going. I've already been doing it for almost a year, and I'm enjoying every step of this way. And I'm enjoying all of the people who are coming on here and my new friends and people who actually care. I love it.
Which brings us to
So,
the next BHAG, which is doing our travel.
Yes, so we would absolutely love, like, long-term goal BHAG for the podcast is we want to raise funds so that we can go across the country and visit all of the farmers and talk about the important issues that are affecting the farmers, and do a documentary that is probably going to be a crazy mix of like Fear Factor slash jackass. I think we're gonna do some like Steve Irwin kind of like just a crazy mix, but also really raise some important topics. I wanna do like a pumpkin launcher, like whoever's got a pumpkin launcher in their field. I'm really good at
pumpkin chunking. My uncle does. My uncle does pumpkin chunking.
I'm really good at it.
Oh, we don't have to do much traveling then.
I want some competition. I want to make this,
Talking about Steve Irwin, sorry, side note, I'm from the Steve Irwin generation, right? Like y'all had Mr. Rogers, we had Steve Irwin.
Well,
And
I had Steve Irwin too. I'm not that old.
Everyone had Steve
I'm
Irwin.
just saying, like, I feel like the term that I would use for our goal would be to become the Steve Irwin of agriculture.
Yes. Yes.
Like,
absolutely.
I remember a little country bumpkin kid saying, "Look, give me a pair of khaki shorts because
Yeah.
I want to be that guy."
So
Yeah.
now we're gonna date Froggy here and tell you that Steve Irwin's daughter is married and is now expecting her first kid.
She is. I know Bindi. I follow her.
Yeah.
So if that doesn't make you feel old, I don't.
Right.
Yeah, she grew up to be a beautiful woman and she's still working hard at his dreams, and it's just amazing. It's amazing to see. And those are my role models too, the people who are out there doing the crazy stuff in the woods and trying to jump on the crocodile. Yeah. Me and my husband are like that. We're like that.
Such a testimony to his passion. And that's kind of something that, even getting into goals, that what an amazing testimony that his kids are both still doing what he set out to do. And that's really what my goal is, because I love my parents. I love that they were teachers, but it didn't line with like my passions. I am teaching, trying to help people, but not in a school setting. I would love for my kids to at least have the opportunity to grow up on a farm and to understand kind of these things and have something to pass on to them. And even when I said that my goal is to do TikTok, I mean, that's not really my ultimate goal. When I was in quarantine this year, because I am blessed to be able to work from home. So at the first wave, I was working from home. That's when I started the garden. And I realized something, that I don't really enjoy leaving for 9 hours of the day, coming home to my family, spending 2 hours with them and going to bed. I would love to get to a point where what I do for a living is with my kids and with my family. Like that's what I want to do. And I can do that if I'm farming, in agriculture. That's a great way to have a farm and do that as a family. I think that would be just awesome. Put me in the grave at that point.
And you have young kids, right? They're very young.
Yep. They're 3 and just 10 months.
You still have time for that. So I've been talking about my dream of having a farm literally my whole life. But then I had kids and I'm like, I really, really, really want to be on a farm when they're little.
Yeah.
And now they're all teenagers. And my son is 19. And it's just crazy that we didn't get there. But my youngest is still really optimistic about us getting onto a farm before she's all grown up and out of the house. So she talks about it all the time. Drawing pictures and everything, guys. I got to get on a farm soon.
Well, they'll enjoy it even if they're older. They'll love coming to visit the farm and bringing the grandkids.
Mm-hmm. Oh, no.
Nope.
None of my kids want kids.
Oh, man.
None of my kids want kids.
Really?
I said the same thing, and then I had 3 kids.
So Noah, I'm gonna go off a limb here and say that everyone listening right now is probably one of your followers, because we have a lot of cross followers between all four of us, right? So at least a large majority of them. So everyone here is pretty familiar with your chicken facts of the day, right? Or your animal facts of the day.
Oh, we have to talk about the egg video.
We do. We need to get to that one. I have a question first, though. So what I really enjoy, of course, as a fruit and vegetable farmer, is you introducing new crops, right? New food items to people. And it seems like with some of them, they're new to you too. So I'm curious, what has been your favorite new fruit or vegetable that you've tried out of all the ones you've done?
Great question. My favorite, and first of all, I should you mentioned the crossover. I love when I get onto Victory's Survival Garden. I butchered that.
Victory Garden Survival.
When I get on Victory Garden Survival and I see people that are my followers that are in my lives, and I'm like, hey, you're watching them too, right? And same thing with Salty Beardo and Farmer Froberg. Like, I love it. Really is. I'm learning how small of a community it is. Just that we all are kind of interconnected. So I think that's fun. And shout out to all the followers that are all following all four of us. I think it'd be great on this live, or whoever is posting the video, if you guys are following all four of us, I want to hear that. Like,
yes,
that'd be awesome.
If you're following
I think
yes, definitely.
all four of us.
And I feel this, I feel the same way. Like, I go on your guys' stuff and it's my followers that are in there, and I'm like, oh wow, I didn't know that that person knew this person. And really, at the end of the day, it's the algorithm is just so good. It matches people and their personalities even. And that's why it was so easy to come up with good people for the podcast. Like, Tyler wanted to do a podcast, told Salty told me, which I had already posted a video back in April saying, if anyone wants to do a podcast, let me know. And that's how things happened. It's just like-minded people.
I don't know if I go out as far as saying TikTok's algorithm is good.
I was thinking that.
TikTok, please don't ban me for saying that, for coming against the almighty TikTok.
Oh gosh, I can't even.
I'm not even going to get Danny started, because I'm sure that could be a whole podcast.
Don't get me started. I realized that they're shadow banning me so bad. I went into my husband's phone and I searched up my hashtag, which has 1.7 million views on it, right? They slowed me down about 2 months ago. It's stuck at 1.7 million views. And when you look at the videos, it's all of your guys' videos. Anyone who used my hashtag, it's their videos at the top. You have to scroll all the way down to the bottom of it to find my videos on my hashtag, on my own hashtag. They hate me.
Well, before we let Danny go and release the leash, I'll answer Farmer Froberg's question on my favorite fruit. The dragon fruit was my favorite one that I've had. I've had it before, but actually like purchasing it and eating it, that was my favorite. And then honestly, after that would be jicama, because I'd never had jicama before, and I was like, what in the world is this? I just don't like it with lime.
It's dry. It's dry. All of the ones in Pennsylvania that I found are very dry. And
you didn't see the video? He got one of my fresh ones.
Oh, I didn't see that. What's that face? Was it not fresh?
It was the magic of
the video. So anyone listening, that was kind of mine and Noah's first introduction to each other. We connected with each other and made a fun little video about jicama, because that was when we were harvesting jicama. And he was going to do a video about jicama. So in the video, I pick it and I toss it up, and he catches it in his kitchen and then eats it.
Oh, maybe I did see that.
Yeah.
TikTok time is very different than normal time.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
So you could see something like a month ago, but that was already a year ago. You're over it. Like, it's way, way behind you, because we have to post every single day in order to be in the algorithm for them to show our videos and stuff. So a couple times a day, sometimes we have to post videos. So time moves. I'm
the only one that feels that way about how fast time flies.
Time is different. TikTok time is different.
Old like me.
What? Is this another old joke? I heard the word old. What's wrong now, Salty?
So okay. So the egg video. So first off, if you
Which egg
go to
video?
Shiloh,
Wait,
if you
yes, I
go
was
to
about to say.
Shiloh Farm's page and look at the what do you call it? The square of the video, it is Noah like coughing up an egg constantly. So let's
So
do this
funny.
NFL style and break it down play by play.
Yeah, I need a breakdown because
So I'm just gonna go off a limb here and say it was probably 2 a.m. when we all, that's when I know when most of us get our best ideas for TikTok. It was 2 a.m. and you're laying in bed and you're thinking, okay, I need something big. Why don't I drink a raw egg? Like, walk us through this.
So here's what I found out about TikTok. If you think something is going to be big and you really put effort into it, it will flop, because that's exactly what that video did. And so I'm getting to the point where I'm like, man, I have these big ideas, but I don't know if it's worth it because it's not going to work. So
it's true. It's
I
so
did
true.
not have that idea. The original one I saw was somebody that said, I bet you can't comment, like, and share this post by the time I eat like a Snickers bar. And I was like, I mean, it had ridiculous, like 2 million views or something. And I said, oh, I mean, that was clever, but it really isn't anything. I said, I bet if I try to eat a raw egg, that'll do it, right? I'm thinking I can trick the TikTok algorithm into just stupidity equaling views. Well, it didn't work, but the honest truth was I tried that 3 different times because I really, really wanted to try and actually just, get the egg down. I cannot do it to this day. I cannot drink a raw egg. Like, my gag reflexes just come up. And so that was that was my third take. I tried so hard to keep it in and I couldn't
No,
do it.
That has to be a challenge for the Midnight Farmers when we
Yes, I love that idea. I've already done it. So
I was about to say I was this close to duetting it. I just couldn't. I was just,
I remember you saying that, Paul. I remember you saying you were gonna duet it, and then it just
yeah, I had thought about it. I'm like, you didn't get past thought.
Now I have to try so I can upstage you guys.
I guarantee you it'll get more views, so that's a plus for you.
They won't show anyone.
I'm just really curious to see if any of you guys can actually do it. It's harder than I thought it was going to be. And for those that were commenting, you're going to get salmonella. I did wash the egg before I cracked it in my mouth, so you don't have to worry about that.
A lot of athletes still do this, don't they? Like, blend up the raw egg and drink it.
Yeah. Yep. Well, and you can buy it raw. Like, I used to buy this product where you could get raw egg whites and it would come to you frozen. And it came with a little pump. You put it in your shakes. It was raw egg. I would do that. I can't do it in an actual eggshell though, and cracking it in my mouth. I don't know. I'll try. You know what? I'll try.
I think I have to do. I think I have to do this.
I'll do it. Yeah.
I feel the pressure now.
So I'm curious. So you are I'm going to say one of the few agricultural creators that managed to get the algorithm right and hit, really get one of those several videos that hit over 1 million plays, right? And I can imagine that, and we certainly watched your account grow.
Yes.
Right? Like within a week or two of one of those hit videos doing so well. So I'm curious of what your feelings of that were. So I think the first one was your pineapple video, right? Was that your first really, really big one?
Yep. Which way do you want me to go? Is this advice for how to grow TikTok, or what I
No,
did?
your personal experience. We want.
Yeah, I'm curious. Like, what was your feeling? A, when did you realize that it was happening, right? And then B, like, what was your mind going through? Because it was all within like a week that you gained. I don't know how many followers it was. It was a lot.
Yeah.
So I started TikTok in July 7th, and I had my first video really hit. I was on a trip. We were actually going up to Minnesota. And so I posted a video on Thursday morning. It was like September 2nd. And we were driving, we stopped in Iowa. And so it had been like 7 hours. And I checked my phone. And at that time I had like 1,500 followers. So it had taken me 2 months. I was up to 1,500 followers. And I checked my phone and I had gained like 700 followers. And I was like, what is happening? Well, I posted a video about sheep, that when they fall over on their back, that some sheep will just die. and which isn't entirely true, but it is true for some sheep.
Mhm.
And I
Salty just
remember
did that video about the
I
gas.
did. I just did a video like
Did you
that.
really?
Yep.
Yeah, I should duet that one. I remember just scrolling my notifications and it was like +1, +1. And I was like, look, like this is amazing. And I was showing my wife, I was like, this is crazy that I'm swipe every time I swipe, there's a new notification. And what's weird, what I've come to realize with TikTok is there's like these just massive highs where you're just on top of it. And then you go for like a week and a half where you're like, why am I even
Yep.
doing this? This is the dumbest thing in the world. And what I've gotten to
That's
the point is
2
just,
months for me now.
you just got to keep grinding because eventually there will be one that hits. And so what I did was I just committed to, I'm going to post at least 3 videos a day. I'm going to try to keep it on my niche, right? That's kind of what I was thinking. But I don't even remember where I got this advice from, but they said post 3 times a day if you can.
Mhm.
And then always post one that's either topical or outside your niche. Because usually those ones outside, your followers that are liking you for a specific reason, those don't seem to ever do well. But every once in a while, you will get one, like the one about the pineapple,
Yeah.
that just for whatever reason it hits. And like I said, I've posted videos before where I'm like, oh, this one's going to do so great. And it does nothing. And then I post one not even thinking about it. And it's like,
Mhm.
what in the world? Why do people even care about this?
Was the pineapple one that you didn't think was going to do well?
I mean, I figured it would do fine. I figured maybe 5,000 views at that point. Like,
Mhm.
What's it up to? Like 1.8 or something
it's
like
at
that?
2.7 million. I actually had
Wow.
Foodies. Foodies has like 12 million followers and they duetted the video. I've had several actual big name TikTok influencers have duetted that video. And so that was kind of cool. The
That's
reason you
awesome.
talked about me growing so fast in that 1 week, um, I had grown about 2,000 followers ish a day from about 5,000 up until about 27. And then I just stalled. I mean, you guys have been there where it's like, why? I can't do anything right. It seems like I can't do a single thing right.
I'm just not allowed to do anything.
You're probably in a completely different problem. So I don't know how to help your advice other
I
than,
showed my personality a little too much and the thought police pulled me over.
yeah. But I posted that video and what I found out is, and this is a trick that I think everybody kind of understands at this point, that if you have a video that is doing really well, you have got to capitalize that on, and whatever your next video is, don't just post a random one. Really try on that next one, because what happened, why I grew so fast, is that I had like 3 or 4 that were over 500,000 views at one time. And so I tried to ride the wave, but the hard part mentally, as you're thinking, oh my goodness, I'm here. The only way to go down is the only place to go is down. And so I just kept it was honestly stressful.
Yeah, it is.
It
It
really
is.
was.
How am I going to top this video?
Exactly. And so
Yeah.
then I almost felt better the next week being like, I'm back to my regular no
Yes.
views. And
But then you hit again with your kangaroo map.
then the kangaroo map one. And so that's kind of where I'm at now. Is my goal is to get 100,000 by the end of the year. Because it feels like it'll be a nice little mark. And going live has been the difference maker for me.
Yes.
I don't
So,
know.
okay, I got to ask, what are we doing for 100,000? What's the plan?
I don't have a plan for 100,000. I've had a follower, shout out to Guero999, who says that I should buy a cake, like a birthday cake, and feed it to my chickens and have like
That's cool.
a chicken.
That would be good.
That
I
would
don't
be
know if I can
cute.
feed chickens cake. I feel like there's going to be not an expert, so I feel like there's something in cake that's going to be like kill my chickons or something.
It's,
I
it's
just did a
possible.
video on that not too long ago. Cake should be okay.
Perfect.
As long as you only hit 100,000 once, you're good.
So
Okay.
I was on Cattle Guys Live a couple of nights ago, and I asked him the same question. I said, "What are you going to do for 100,000?" And so he started brainstorming. If y'all haven't heard, he is giving away a cooler full of his beef when he hits 100,000.
Holy cow.
Really?
Yes.
Literally a freezer. Literally a
A
freezer.
deep freezer full of beef. That's what he's giving. Like not a freezer's equivalent. He's giving you a freezer plus the beef in it.
Cattle guy, hook me up.
Shout out to you, Fireball.
And it's garage rated, so it's a garage rated one. You can't just put any freezer in a garage.
Yeah.
Here's the sad thing about that. That's one of those things on any other platform that I feel like would do amazingly well. And on TikTok, it's like, nope, they don't like you to go outside, whatever your need is. Like, no,
like giveaways.
We don't like giveaways. We don't like it.
So when I hit 10,000, I decided that's when I was going to do my first chicken foot painting giveaway.
Okay.
And I thought the same thing y'all were talking. This is going to do good. What a bust. I mean, my regular followers liked it, right? Like, but it didn't, if you went, I think I sent you a picture of it, Paul. It was 99% following, 1% FYP.
Yeah.
Did not show it to anyone that wasn't following me.
I think I being 2 years on TikTok now, I was one of the original OG adults on TikTok after it changed from Musical.ly to TikTok. And I have noticed a few things. 3 posts a day that's the ticket for one. But sometimes it's like you have to post an original post of just you doing whatever. Then you have to duet somebody and then do another post. I noticed that sometimes that amps up your views, but there are all these little like tips and tricks that you figure
Real quick, y'all, I got to give a shout out to one of our favorite people, Mr. and Mrs. Hale. They just hopped on my live.
Hey!
Awesome.
I had mailed them some produce at the beginning of the week, and they just got done making a stir fry with it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so EOD Confections, we love y'all.
Yes, we do. We love you.
So you guys might have talked about this in previous podcasts, so I apologize if you have, but have you guys had similar experiences as far as like the growth on your pages and feeling like, you're on top of the world and then you can't post anything because it's going to go down?
I had, so like for months and months, like I made 1,000 TikTok followers in a week when I first started, and I wound up on the local news, and then I had a whole bunch of people follow me from the local area, and then it kept rising from there. And I was just like, no makeup, I didn't care, I had things on my head all the time, my hair was covered, I didn't give a crap about anything, and I just was chronicling us putting in gardens and what we were doing and everything, and people seemed to really love it. I had thousands of views per video, and I was up going up, and then they slowed me down, and that was the biggest disappointment this year, was the fact that they slowed me down, because I thought once you're good, you're solid, you're in, you could just keep going, but no, it didn't happen that way. It's very unfortunate.
For me, I had done like real average throughout, and then I had taken about like a week off where I just needed a break and I needed to focus on some stuff on the farm. I haven't recovered. Like taking a week off has really slowed me down to a plateau. So, and I feel like, I'm trying to do real good videos. I only stick to about 1 video a day though. For me, trying to do more than that is too much for me.
Yeah.
A lot of it is, for me, I like to be outside. I don't like doing inside type of stuff or inside videos. And so I'm so limited in, it's dark when I do my chores in the morning, I work, and then it's dark at night. So it's like
savings time screwed up TikTok for you, didn't it?
It did. So I'm sneaking around trying to get a video in if or when I can. So, and right now I'm starting to kind of get back the momentum I had lost before, but it's been a good 2 months or so, and I've stalled out at pretty much where I've been.
That happened to my original account before I was Victory Gardens Revival, and I took like a week off, and it really screwed up my account. They do not want you to take any time off. You got to be working for TikTok for free every single day of your life, or you get no recognition.
I definitely would like to shout out Paul, though, in the sense of was one of the first people that I had started following. And even though you're only putting out 1 video a day, there are definitely times where I look at mine and I'm like, I put out a lot of crap videos, like just to try to get a video out. And I feel like at least on your profile, what you do have is like I know every video that I watch on Salty Beardo's page is like a quality content
Mhm.
video that I'm gonna appreciate. Whereas like
Sure.
it's sometimes if I'm watching my own video, I'm like, why did they? That's just dumb.
It's
So I
true.
appreciate that.
It's true. It's absolutely true. And that's why I always liked him too, because I could tell he's a little weird like me, like with his sense of humor and stuff. But he information.
Yeah.
And you know, I love when he tells off the vegans. I love when they attack him and he tells them off. I love it because, you know, at the end of the day, it's all about individuality, you know, and you know,
So
what's good for the goose isn't good for the gander sometimes.
And
When-
keep your eye out. I like to put little Easter eggs in mine, so there's a lot of hidden stuff in my videos.
I have Easter eggs in my videos too.
Yes.
I didn't know
so
you were doing that.
when I first made mine, I was the same that I think you had said, Paul, that you like gained a bunch really quick. Like I hit like 3,000 within like a couple of weeks. And I was like, wow, this is cool. But I noticed that a lot of my followers weren't like agriculture related, which I thought was weird.
Mhm.
And then I don't know, just nothing for months, like for 4 months or so, where it was just like, why am I even on? You know what I mean?
That's
Like this
weird.
is just kind of like whatever. I wasn't using live function or anything like that.
Uh-oh. It froze a little bit.
I'm still here.
Okay, I see you.
I'm just glad it wasn't my side.
Salty just disappeared and Froggy's frozen.
Oh, there I am.
There you are.
Sorry.
Where did Salty go?
Oh, Salty's gone.
Salty's gone.
Oh no.
That's so strange.
I know. Mine like froze and then he was gone.
Maybe I gotta call him back. I don't know.
I'm telling you, TikTok is now incorporated into Zoom, and they didn't like that we were bashing them.
You know what, and it's funny because somebody had made a joke in Facebook and said when we were talking about stuff before about like General Mills and stuff that like they tapped in and started listening, and that's why you had that echo glitch on your that happens on the phone too. Sometimes I'm on the phone and I start talking about stuff and I'll start to hear myself echo and I'm like, oh yeah, they're totally tapping me.
I have a story for you. I will do it offline though because I don't want to say it on. But I have a phone message I'll send with you.
All right.
So
You know,
before I froze, I was saying that like I gained a lot of followers, like 3,000 quick, and then I just plateaued. And then I created a little guy named Trevor. And that Moo Farms, I'm sure y'all are both familiar with Moo Farms.
oh yeah.
She duetted it, which Salty saw. And so that hooked me up with Salty. And then Paul just started like messaging me, just super kind. And
Yeah.
so him and I actually had a phone conversation. He was like,
Mhm.
hey man, you want to talk for a little bit? I was like, yeah. So we talked and he was like, dude, I think you need to take your account seriously.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? He was like, I think you need to take it seriously. Like, take it like it's a for real thing.
Yeah. And
Okay.
when Salty found you, he had messaged me and said, "Hey, you got to check out this guy's account. He's doing phenomenal. It's really up your alley. Like he's really up your alley." And then like you started mentioning a podcast or, you know, getting some kind of organization going on, and he's like, "Dude, like this is going to happen now."
That was only 4 weeks ago, I think, that Paul and I talked. That he
Yeah.
was
I think
like we got to do maybe 5 weeks.
It's
yeah,
been
I
longer
think it
than
was
that,
I think it
'cause
was
your podcast was a
a
month
month
ago.
and a half, 2
A month
months
ago.
ago.
Okay, so maybe
Yeah.
2 months ago it was.
2 months ago.
Yeah.
2 months ago. But in TikTok time, I feel like I know these guys really well.
Right.
And we've been friends forever. So
That's right.
that's a benefit of the whole situation.
Except
So
I don't
can
know
we
where
make
he
a
went.
who doesn't want to be our friend anymore? So everyone needs to go comment poop emojis while he's
Yes.
yes, okay,
Salty got the
it's
glitch
chicken
again,
poop
so
emoji time, guys.
the chicken and then the poop emojis all over Salty stuff because something happened on his end and
Yes.
he glitched out and he disappeared. So
So
you know.
I'm going to give a quick announcement real quick. If everybody has questions, whether you're on our personal lives or on the Facebook group, if you could this would be the time to go ahead and ask them.
Yes, any closing questions?
Questions answered. So if you're on Farmer Froberg's live, Victory Garden Survival live, Shiloh Farms live, or on the Facebook group, if you have a question, let's go ahead and start asking them, and we can get some questions answered.
Frobro or Fit Froberg is on there, and he put a chicken with the poop emoji. You gotta go do that on Salty's page. That's where we gotta get that.
So Paul lost us, and so if you do, go cover his videos and chicken poop emojis. So I just got the question.
I got one. Oh. Who is better looking, Farmer Froberg or his older brother, Austin Froberg, who was on the last podcast?
Ooh, that's a question for the audience.
Who's cuter? I would say, you know what? I would say you guys come from really good genes. And I would say the reason why all of your success in the beginning of TikTok is because the algorithm looked at your face and was like, he's going to be a star.
That's ridiculous.
It's not.
I got a real question.
That's what
they said. Cat Sweet said, am I starting a GoFundMe page? No. We're not starting a GoFundMe page. We're not asking for money. What I want to get the word out is just so we can find our equipment, right? So if you're just joining in, I talked about it earlier today on the farm. We discovered that our tractor had been stolen, our side-by-side, our trailer. And so, no, we're not. I appreciate everybody's support with that and wanting to, but no, right? If you want to support, share the video that I posted, right? And especially with anyone in Texas, and then go support your local farmer is the best that you can do.
Danny, I want to make a comment on how you were talking about your TikTok growth, how you were like, I was on there, no hair or no makeup. My hair is all crazy. Yeah. What I find so fascinating about TikTok is it's almost like the middle stepchild of the social media, because Instagram is like, you have to look pretty and beautiful. And TikTok is like, we don't care what you look like.
Yeah.
The low quality kind of stuff.
As long as your camera is good, you can look terrible. Yep. As long as the camera quality is up there, you can look awful.
Yep. It's almost like they don't want you to try too hard.
Yeah, sometimes it's such a psychological mess.
It's weird.
It gets you. So Richard voted, and he said the older Froberg is the more attractive Froberg. So you guys are gonna have to hatch that out on your own time. Just saying. He said definitely Fit Froberg. He still has to change that screen name. We've decided to call him Fit Froberg until he changes his screen name from Austin Froberg to Fit Froberg. Because I was going through his videos the other day and he was lifting an insane amount of weight with like dumbbells, and I was like, oh my gosh.
Shout out to my brother, man.
I did not expect that. That was impressive. Completely impressed. Okay. I'm gonna look at some comments here. Oh, Salty's on. If she's watching comments, she can get me back. Wait, what did you say? He came into the chat as Midnight Farmers.
Oh.
He's learning how to do Facebook now.
So again, if anybody has any questions for our guest, Noah, or for us, please drop them in any of the comment sections. Let us know.
Like there was one from Tyler that I gotta go through.
We have Salty and we're holding him for ransom.
Oh yeah, Noah, we always ask this. What TikTok account are you stuck on right now? Doesn't have to be hacked. What?
There's two questions that I got to get to.
Yeah.
One is I'll tell just a little bit about my homestead because I didn't really do a good job of explaining that.
Okay.
And then yes, the TikTok accounts that I'm stuck on. Our homestead is, like I said, we got 5 acres, so we've got.
I sent you an invite. I'm sorry. Salty's like, I need an invite. I sent you one and you didn't come in, so I thought maybe you had some issues. I just invited you again. Or we've just decided to shun you. I'm sorry to cut you off. And someone also asked you, actually, Fit Froberg asked you, how long did it take to grow your beard?
Salty Beardo?
No, you. How
Oh,
long did it take for you to grow your beard?
I have not actually shaved since I was in high school, so I always like trim it. So I don't know. This is probably a month.
Impressive. Impressive. My husband was one of those people who it grew in all white trashy, like Joe Dirt, and he could not grow a beard for the longest time. And then he started looking up all these oils and stuff, and
Yep.
that's what helped.
Hey, before you move on to those questions that I had asked Noah, but I don't want to get too far behind on these questions. So, can you give a shout out to the website for the seeds again? People are asking about the free seeds you had mentioned.
Yes.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
Thank you. You were ignoring me.
I didn't see it.
I want to
Oh
let
no.
you know I was
You guys are
not-
frozen again.
Oh no.
Oh,
It was doing so good too. We had a good run.
no.
Go ahead for that website, Noah.
Yes.
go ahead.
I'm actually going to give you go to green, like the color green, greencoverseed.com and just search Milpa. We are out of stock because, as everyone knows, with the 2020 vegetable craze, there was like no vegetable seeds to find. So we will have some for the spring. There's a little button that just says like notify me when this is back in stock. You can just put your email address in.
That's
And
nice.
then I have that list. And so when we have it back in stock, we're doing all of our ordering right now. I'll send an email out to everybody and say, hey, if you're interested in getting that acre of seed, let me know.
Nice.
So yeah, greencoverseed.com and just Milpa, MILPA.
From David Gold to
I wrote it as B.
from David Gold to question for Noah. What beard oil does he use?
Haha, that's a good question. I use Honest Amish.
Honest Amish.
I'm looking for a TikTok sponsor if anyone wants to give me some.
Looking for a beard oil, y'all.
We're all looking for a TikTok sponsor.
Okay, I also got a very general question from JB Does TikTok. He said, what is the most difficult crop to grow? Do we want to do a round table on this and we all answer what we've had the hardest luck growing?
I wasn't paying attention again. Oh, hardest luck growing. Okay. I can't read and pay attention at the same time. Only one sensor.
A round table
at a time.
Noah, you want to go first? What's the hardest crop you've had luck growing?
Sure. Well, I've only been gardening for a couple years, but the hardest one that I've had is any of the small seeded brassica plants. Lettuces are tough for me to actually get going very well around here. And carrots. I cannot grow carrots to save my life.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's been my Achilles heel.
Yeah, I would say carrots too for
Really?
me. Yeah, carrots. Every time we try to plant them, they just don't grow, and they bolt on us. My bok choy bolted on us. A few things bolted for us.
I will say for your bok choy, cool weather.
Yeah.
Like cool. You may not have a long enough season where of cool enough weather before it's too cold.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I have to give up on that dream then, huh?
Maybe try the variety that I'm growing. That May Queen bok choy. Try that.
Yeah. Okay.
Salty?
Salty's frozen.
Oh no. I think mine was gem corn this year. I grew gem corn this year, which I pulled it off. But as a vegetable farmer, I don't grow a lot of corn. And so just managing, especially, I don't even know what it's called. You might know it, Noah. Oh gosh, it's a little caterpillar that bores right at the top of the ear and goes in.
Oh yeah, I'm not very good at.
Oh, we see you again, Salty.
We're just gonna.
I know. I don't know what is going on with my connection, so I'm so sorry.
No idea. I do have a question. Richard asked Noah if he dry incubates or has humidity.
I have a little giant, so yes, I have humidity. Try to keep it between 40 and 60%. is that kind of what, do you have the same situation, Paul, or do you just buy your chicks?
Yeah, I do the same thing. I don't know if you guys can hear me or not. So
We can hear you.
I incubate as well. So yeah, I use a wet incubator with humidity.
I think we keep losing Paul.
There's always something.
There's always something.
We were doing good,
Hey,
but
we got a lot of good content, y'all.
oh yeah, totally. We're at 2 hours and 7 minutes.
Wow. Well, Noah, do you want to give everyone your account you're stuck on right now?
Yes. So you mentioned one of them, Moo Farms. I really am enjoying a lot of their stuff. Honestly, the three of you are probably the ones that I'm checking out most, and I'm not just saying that, even though I'm on this podcast. I like to watch you guys. Barnyard Blooms is one of my.
Yes.
I love him.
on there.
I love him. He was one of my first friends on there.
Yeah.
And he's been showing his personality a little bit in his videos, and I love it. And I'm like, watch out, the TikTok police are gonna pull you over.
I really like the Cowboy Hippie. I love Javelin Pool as well.
Oh, I've been watching him. Yeah.
He's really he's got some fun videos.
I don't think I know him.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
He's in Arizona, and he's doing some really cool things. I don't remember exactly the story, but I believe his dad was like had a tree farm, and for whatever reason his dad wasn't able to do it anymore, so he kind of came back and took over what they're doing. So yeah, Javelin Pool is his username. So shout out to the Cowboy Hippie.
I'm gonna have to look him up, or tag me, because I won't remember.
I'm the same way. I feel bad when I do live for 2 hours. I'm like, yeah, I'll do that, and an hour and a half goes by. I forget everything.
It's true. It's very easy to make promises and not keep them. I try to make all of my promises that I make, but like I said on the last show, I have the memory of a goldfish. I was in a car accident when I was younger, and my short-term memory really sucks. So
at least you have an excuse for it. I was never in a car wreck. I'm just dumb.
Yeah.
Hey, I think he gets a shout out every episode, but shout out to Alex at Moon Farm.
Yes.
Because he's like been playing moderator on my live, answering everyone's questions. So Alex, you're
That's
the man.
awesome.
I have Noack Farms on mine right now.
Oh, he jumped ship. He was on mine for a while.
And EOD Confections just popped into mine too. Hello.
I love that. Isn't that the best?
And Moon Farm Organics just left your live and came over to mine. So
Alex, I just gave you a shout out. Wait, he just commented on mine.
I don't know.
He must be jumping shit back and forth.
He probably is. That's what you do all the time.
I mentioned that my dream is to build a house, a log cabin. So I've actually I haven't watched a lot of the videos lately because I went through like a complete binge where I watched every single one of the Mrs. Rogers Hood videos.
I was just going to say my friend, Mrs. Rogers Hood. Yeah, she's got an awesome log cabin house going on, and it is so incredible. When I first found her videos, I had no idea who she was. And I immediately said, I am so freaking excited for this. You better keep posting. And that's how we became friends. And now she's doing mushrooms, and she's in like mushroom country up there.
I think you were the one that told me to check her out, actually. I think you were on my live and said, check her out because she's doing log cabin home.
Yeah. Yeah. They're doing, it's amazing watching a log cabin be built. I've never had that experience before, and we're experiencing it through her. And it's incredible. We lost Salty again.
Again, man.
What is going on, Salty?
I have a question for you guys that's selfish.
Yes, ask us stuff. Interview us now.
What kind of videos do you guys have coming up that you're like, this is the kind of thing that people want to hear, and this is what I got to create content about? What's exciting you guys and things that you're inspired by to post videos about this week?
So obviously I'm a seasonal fruit and vegetable farmer. So I always have a new crop growing in the ground. And so even though some of them bust, right? Some of them do okay, some of them bust. I do always get excited whenever I have a new crop to feature. So tomorrow I'll be featuring our row 7 purple sugar snap peas. So I'm excited for those. But yeah.
No yoga on the farm videos.
No yoga on the farm.
Nothing saucy. Okay, all right.
I tell you, that video keeps creeping up. It's just slowly but surely, like every day, like 10 or 12 people like it. It just slowly but surely creeps up.
I think it's an original. I think
So
that's why.
I think I found out what my issue was. My
What?
Wi-Fi router was dying.
Oh no.
Oh. Isn't it plugged
So
in?
I'm like, what?
My question for the panel here was what kind of things are you guys excited about to film videos on, things that you think that your followers are going to enjoy watching this week?
This week, I don't know about this week, but we do want to start doing microgreens and mushrooms. I have a lot to learn when it comes to those things. So it's probably not going to be this week, probably sometime in the winter season where I don't have any gardening videos coming out, which I don't already. I'm already duetting circus people because those are the people that I relate to. If you guys saw that, I went upside down in my yoga trapeze and I did a hula hoop on my arm, and that was supposed to be my flex of the week. That's what it was supposed to be.
I just got a question from a guest. It said cilantro, are there different varieties? Yes, there are. I currently grow the Calypso. I'm not sure if y'all have grown any other varieties, but I currently grow the Calypso cilantro.
That's what I've grown as well.
I didn't grow any because someone gave us a bunch of it and I froze it. So I always throw it into shakes. Like if I'm doing a strawberry shake, I like to throw a little cilantro in there because it gives it that extra, like, I don't know, that crispness, I guess. I don't know.
I just got a really, really good question too. And so it says, question for Farmer Froberg, USDA farming and ranch loans and grants for first generation farmers. So I'm not like extremely well versed in this. However, we train farmers, so I try to be as well versed as I can. And my expertise is more on minority based farmers. And so that also includes disabled and veteran farmers. And so currently anyone can apply for the NRCS USDA grants. So everyone write that down.
Yeah, drop it in the comments, guys, so I could pick it up later and put it at the top of the post.
NRCS USDA grants. Okay. They have 3 or 4 categories that anybody for profit, nonprofit can apply for. They are grant funded, meaning you do not have to pay them back. Okay. One of them is for pollinator installation areas. The next one is for rainwater harvesting. And the third, and I think it's the final one, is for season extension, which is a huge one. They will buy caterpillar tunnels, low tunnels, or high tunnels for you. It's completely grant funded. Okay. And anybody for profit or nonprofit can apply for these. Okay. So NRCS through the USDA. The big one for us has been the season extension, right? We've had both of our hoop houses and have 2 low tunnels coming to the farm, completely paid for by the NRCS. So again, NRCS through the USDA. Okay, check out the grants. The next is the Veteran Farmer Coalition. If you are a military veteran, much like myself and Salty Beardo, I would highly suggest you look at the Farmer Veteran Coalition. Okay, they work with organizations like Kubota to give grants with tractors. They also give two farming grants a year. I think it's specifically for added value capital. So in other words, like if you're a winemaker, right, they'll buy you a grape press. They will buy you added, or they will give you a grant, and that one's a fund matching grant. So you have to have half the funds basically, and they will give you a grant for added value capital purchases. And then so here, Texas Department of Agriculture also has the agribility office. Every state is supposed to have an agribility office. Look at those. There's lots of there's not a lot. There are a few grants through your state's agribility office for minority farmers, and new farmers fall into that minority section, right? New farmers is someone under the age of 35 or has been farming for less than 5 years. And farming is just defined as someone involved professionally in an agricultural enterprise.
I feel personally attacked that it's under 35 because I'm 36.
But you've been farming less than 5 years, right?
True.
Yeah, it's one or the other, right? You can be older than 35 and still be considered a new farmer.
All right.
Yeah. So check those out. But the big one is that NRCS season extension. I think
I put it into the comments on Facebook,
perfect.
so I can look for it later.
Yeah.
Get it on the website. So Salty, what was yours?
My hardest thing to grow,
That was
or
like
my what?
I think that was 20 minutes ago. Noah, what did you ask?
I don't know where we're at in this whole conversation. I've been fighting this whole internet stuff. That's why I'm like, what? Okay, so what was the question again?
Was that a good
He doesn't remember either. I can see it by the look on his face. He's like, wait.
No.
What
question are we on?
What videos do you have planned, or like what is something that you plan on definitely making a video about because it's important to you, or whatever?
If there's anything that you guys have realized about me is that I don't plan. So I don't know what video I'm going to do until about 5 minutes before I do it. So
yep,
it's really a random grab bag when I do a video. So it's like if it hits me, that's how I get my inspiration to do a video. So
yeah, that's how I am
really
too.
An animal.
What are we looking at? What are we looking
at? I was just showing my live deal.
Oh no, you didn't figure this out yet?
Well, I wanted y'all to see too. Yeah, I can turn it around. I just wanted everybody to see. A constant mirrored image, like some interstellar type stuff going on.
Because when like the infinite wall. When I first did the podcast the first time, I had it flipped towards me, and I wasn't even thinking I could flip the camera around and actually have them see everyone on the screen instead of just listening to me. Works out much better that way. Definitely.
That's how I've done mine.
All right. Well, we're going towards 2 hours and 18 minutes. So I think that was a long podcast, and we should probably start settling down, which I really don't want to, because there's still a million people here on Facebook. There's 16 people still commenting and hanging out with us 2 hours later. I think that's awesome.
I do have one last question.
Yeah,
I do have a question, which is, okay, so for me, what kind of videos would you guys like to see about what we're doing at the Shiloh Farm? Obviously, we run in a lot of the same crossovers. So what kind of things would you like to see from me?
I don't see you doing any twerking tractor videos, because like we've all done one. And
I guarantee you that's not going to happen.
I'm just kidding. I'm just playing.
Noah, I think you're really well versed in cover crops and regenerative ag, man. I think you need to do some more formal education on that type of stuff. And maybe that's not your typical viewer. I'm not sure, but I know that if you're just asking selfishly what I would like, that's what I'd like to see.
As long as you like the video and comment,
I will like the video, comment, duet, all that good stuff.
Okay.
Anything that is encouraging a new generation to grow food and to feel smart about it, like make it a competition. Let them educate themselves. Be like, go look this up. I dare you to go look this up.
So
we need that.
Ray of Sunshine says, would love to see videos about succession planting. I think that's kind of to all of us. And then Dave Gold says, and this is a question we probably need to ask you, Noah, is a series covering things you wish you knew when you were starting out.
Wow,
that's a good one.
Yeah, really good one.
So we can all get on that, right? We're all going to be making a video about what we wish we would have done.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Always start with temporary fencing. Always start with temporary fencing.
Who was that commented? Because if I do a video, I think that's a great idea. I would like to give them credit for that.
That is Davin Gold, DAVINGOULD 2, the number 2.
And what did they say?
A video series on what you wish you knew when you were starting out.
Oh yeah. I feel like I do that already. I feel like every single one of my videos is just, I'm like Salty. I go through my day and I'm just like, I wonder how that works. And then I look it up, and then I do a video and I tell everybody else how I figured it out.
You know what's
I have-
really interesting, and I'm probably gonna bite myself in the foot for this later because TikTok's probably listening and they're gonna come back and make us do it. You know, YouTube makes you cite your sources.
Huh?
Do they? I didn't know that.
I'm pretty sure YouTube will, if you're a big enough account, they'll make you come and cite your sources.
Really?
So I'll be curious to
Really?
see how TikTok handles that in the near
Ruined.
future.
I'm ruined.
I'm
Yeah. You have to be pretty organized. You have to write all that information
Mine
down
will
before you
literally
make
be
a
like,
video.
I heard it from Salty Beardo, I guess.
We'll just source each other.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I had an FFA student or two when I was teaching that literally their source was my ag teacher, Mr. Froberg.
That makes sense. I mean, you have the qualifications to cite you.
There you
I
go.
mean, I don't have any of those qualifications, so don't believe anything I say, guys. It's just,
You know what? That's, I didn't hear you mention it, and maybe the answer might be no. You said you started working at the company in high school. So college or no college?
Yeah, I did go to college. I got my bachelor's degree in agribusiness.
Okay. That's
look at that.
that's something you mentioned in your bio, man.
Yeah, that's something you should be telling people.
Yeah.
Seriously. I had no idea. I had no idea all of this stuff. Like, I was so excited about you coming on the show because I think just like as people, I click with you and the stuff that you're doing. No idea that you were involved in so many different things, and I didn't know that you had an education in it. That's even better. You should
Well,
definitely put that on your TikTok profile.
I don't mention it because I don't use it. I got to this job and
So what, you
when they
use it
hired me-
here?
well, when they hired me full time, they said, we want you to do marketing. So actually my job is sales and marketing, which is kind of why I even got into Instagram on my own. Shiloh Farm was because I was already doing it for green cover seeds. So I was like, why aren't I doing this for myself? I should try.
I like marketing. Everybody can tell because I have people commenting now. They're like, you should totally do marketing. And I'm like, yeah, I kind of do it for myself already, but
Yeah.
it would be nice to get paid at some point.
Well, if honestly, if we're on TikTok and selling products, like I even think about, what Farmer Froberg's doing with Hope Farms, like we're all marketers, whether
Mhm.
we like it or not, even just being on this
Yeah.
platform,
True.
we are all marketing ourselves, whether that's Salty Beardo talking about chickens or, Danny talking about gardens, like we're all marketing things and just having our face out there and our personality, that's marketing.
It's
Salty
funny
needs to
because
change
when
his Instagram handle.
what?
What is Salty?
Salty needs to change his Instagram handle.
Salty needs to change his Instagram handle because he has it as the name of his farm, but no one knows that name. So it needs to be Salty Beardo because that's the only
I
way.
will make a whole new account just for that.
There you go. There you go. I'm not a big fan of Instagram, but
I'm not either.
But when I'm always tagging him and I'm always tagging Froggy and stuff on Instagram, and I can't tag you because I'm like, I don't know if he wants his like the name of his farm tagged.
Mm.
It's funny because when I partnered with Green America, Green America thought that I was, like really cool and I could really market the Victory Gardens revival stuff. And greenamerica.org actually has a map of Victory Gardens in the entire United States, which is really cool. So you could actually register your Victory Garden on that map and see how many have been popping up all over the place.
Wow.
But it's funny because when I was talking to her in a message the one time, I was like, I'm kind of marketing myself as a person and not really just gardens or just this or just that. I'm kind of marketing myself as a person because if you guys know me, you know that I have the Ruby Rye account where I love to act. You know that I have the Victor Gardens Revival account and now the Midnight Farmers podcast. So I'm just kind of like, I want to be a mixed bag. I just want people to get to know me and know that I'm out here trying to do good stuff for people, and hopefully it clicks somewhere, you know?
Hey, I just wanted to, I know I said it several times, but I keep getting the question on my live. Again, y'all, I really appreciate everybody's support and wanting to raise money and all that. We're not accepting any type of donations, or we just want our equipment back. Again, really, really kind for people to be asking for things like Venmo and stuff, but truly, we just want our equipment back. So share the video to everyone you know in the Texas area. And that's how you can
And
help.
if you really want to, if you really want to give us money, we need to register as a nonprofit in the future. So once we do that, definitely keep that in mind to donate to us in the future, because we intend to help a lot of farmers. We intend to help a lot of people in the future. We don't know how to do it yet,
Exactly.
but we're going to figure it out. And keep it in mind that we might need your help in the future to get this going. But yeah, I mean, we just want whoever did it to return the tractor so that he doesn't have to go through a huge hassle to get the crops, and he needs his equipment.
Oh, Hop Farm just got on, guys. Hey, Hop.
Oh
Okay.
my
How's it
gosh,
going, man?
he's on my list.
Hop was in, yeah, he was in the Facebook garden group there.
Awesome.
So when I was temporarily banned, we were chatting there.
I invited you right away, and I thought that you hit cancel on it because it didn't come through. And then I saw that you were in there, and I was like, okay, well, he must be on his phone. The computer died or something, because something always dies on your end. So
I know.
Midnight Farmers Podcast, Iowa Farmer Blake. Midnight Farmers Podcast.
All right, I think things are simmering down here.
Yeah.
I'm getting a little tired of sitting in this chair, so I think we're gonna start to wrap things up. And I definitely want to have you back on the show, especially now that I know that you are qualified and you know what the heck you're talking about.
Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. I may only be a one-hit wonder.
No. No, something told me right off the bat to ask you on as the first guest. That was my first instinct, was you and Hop Farms, that I wanted to have as my first guest on the podcast. And my instincts with you were dead on. And I can't wait to get Hop on here, because I feel like he's going to have a lot of things to say that are going to be really good for people too. So I can't wait for that.
Noah, do you have any parting words for anyone? Any words of advice? Anything at all? Any last minute that you just want to, if you got to say anything to anybody?
Yeah, if there's any vegans on here, my animals live the greatest life of any animal out there in the entire world. They get better care than any animal that you put my animals up against. They just have one bad day.
Yeah.
Yep.
One
And you know,
couple of minutes.
I wanted to bring that up. I think we need to start using the term radical vegans.
Yeah.
That's true.
Right? We need to start using the term radical vegans, because vegans are how vegetable farms can stay in business sometimes, y'all, and they're not all bad.
I actually in my life
Call them militant. They're militant vegans.
Militant
vegans, yes. Yeah,
was in my live when somebody was talking about the vegan teacher, and so my next goal is to try and have a debate with that vegan teacher, because she's the one that drives me.
That would be
Look at that. See, he's out. He's like us. He's like, yeah, let's bring someone controversial on the, like someone who doesn't believe the same way we do. Because Froggy was saying that last week. We need to get somebody on here that doesn't agree with what we agree with, especially when it comes to the Franken meat. We're all kind of weirded out by that Franken meat stuff. You can't sell us on it. We want to find somebody who's kind of in the middle of that. What were you saying last week?
So what I was saying was, I want to see someone who's in the middle of a Venn diagram. And when that Venn diagram is Franken meat and they're so pro Franken meat, but anti-GMO.
There we go.
Find someone who's in the middle there.
Yeah.
Right. I really want to not in a militant way, or not even in a debate way, just to interview. I want to dig into that person's brain.
I want to hear what you have to say.
Why they would be for one, but not for the other.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Not in a controversial way, just literally just understanding.
No, we're not going to bulldoze you. We're just
Yeah.
going to pick your mind. Don't be afraid of us. Come on the show. It'll be fun.
We're not.
It sounded really inviting.
Really inviting. We'll definitely get somebody with that invite.
Oh man.
Oh man. Well,
Well,
Stay positive and test negative, friends. Thanks for having me on the
that's
podcast.
right.
Really appreciate it.
Yes.
yes,
Hey,
definitely.
Noah, it's been a pleasure, man. It really has. This was good.
Likewise.
Yes, it really has.
Really
Really
appreciate it.
has. Definitely going to do it again soon. I feel like I have so many people that that I have on my list of people I want to ask on the show that I could fill up a whole year already.
Well, you definitely have more people
easy.
qualified than me, but if you do ever need help or anything, you know where to find me. So I'd absolutely be willing to help out in any way I can.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate that. And I have to say, there have been people who have been reaching out to me saying, like, how can I help? How can I become a midnight farmer and help help amplify what you guys are doing? And, even if, give me a job or give me a task. What I say to that is, please share our stuff first and foremost. Second, hashtag midnight farmers on your videos that are educational, because we want to break the algorithm. We don't want it to be farmers versus gardeners versus, these people. We want to turn it all into one family. And anytime that you can hashtag that midnight farmers, just midnight farmers hashtag, you are becoming part of the family. You are becoming part of our network. And we're going to be looking to you guys first before anybody else. So definitely do that. And it will help us. It will help us a lot.
I think there needs to be a Midnight Farmers tattoo or at least something like solidifies the
Yes.
group, right?
Well-
On your forehead.
Froggy's going to get a tattoo, a frog with a guitar, and we're going to air it. When we do the documentary and we go all across the country, I'm dragging him into a tattoo parlor.
Not a real thing, y'all. Not a real thing.
With the giraffe.
This is
They're
not
gonna
doing
be a giraffe on there.
Oh, Hop Farm says homesteaders unite.
Yeah, homesteaders unite. Everybody unite. Not just the
Everybody unite.
homesteaders, not just the gardeners, everybody. We want all of you to become midnight farmers. We want to be that weird, crazy family at the end of the day. We just have a lot of fun and we try to help the world. Superheroes, guys.
Well, Danny, are you going to say it?
I am going to say, in a time of need and disaster and crazy things in the world, you have to look for the helpers, because that's what Mr. Rogers would do. That's it.
Noah,
All right,
it's been a blast, my friend. Everybody watching, really appreciate everybody hopping on. Apparently, hashtag tap the frog is a thing now. And we'll appreciate it.
we're gonna have to get, guys, everybody draw some tattoo ideas for Froggy. Draw some tattoo ideas, and I'll put them all together in a collage and I'll make a video about it. Send me some stuff.
I'm gonna have my 3-year-old draw a frog. That's what it needs to be.
I was gonna say,
That's
put
awesome.
your kids to work. Put your kids to work. It'll be like a competition. And then he'll definitely have to do it.
For the
Hi,
children,
y'all.
yeah.
He really looks like he wants to.
Yep.
All right, y'all.
All right. Bye.
All right.
Good evening, y'all. Thank you.